Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Co-optional Podcast here on the 30th of January 2018.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. This is the best we can do, is it? This is the best we managed for our esteemed guest.
Just saying hello over and over again.
Yeah. We're acknowledging the many people who are here.
Yeah. One of the biggest gaming podcasts on the planet, and this is the best we could manage.
Yeah.
That says a lot about gaming podcasts. Less about us, more about gaming podcasts in general.
Exactly. I think, we get to blame the overall system at this point, more so than us.
Yeah.
That's fair, right? It's the environment. We are a product of
for greatness.
Our environment.
With great power comes great responsibility.
Exactly. I also just dribbled all over myself. So cheers.
Yes. I think you can tell which of us can manage that responsibility and which cannot from the early minutes of the show. And the answer is none of us can manage that particular responsibility. Hailing from the Checkpoint organization, we have a real doctor on the show, Dr. Jennifer Hazel. Welcome to the Co-optional Podcast. And apologies.
Thanks for having me.
Apologies for the Co-optional Podcast.
What? Stop this. You're putting so many negative
Can you, psychoanalyze TV for that? Why does he feel the need to put us down so much?
Yeah.
That comes after.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you don't
this is you learn about us right now. Yeah, okay, I get it.
You don't need this psychoanalysis to figure that one out. The answer is, I'm British. As such, I crave disappointment. If the disappointment isn't forthcoming, I create it on my own accord.
You have to force it onto yourself.
Yes, you do. You have to create that environment. We're very good at this.
Now I'm not sure whether or not this is a psychoanalysis of him or of us. He's chosen us to be his companions because we so easily create disappointment in him.
It would explain.
I, for one, welcome the opportunity.
It would explain YouTubers the career path. Yeah. It's a lot of things that fall into place when you understand that very basic principle.
I'll formulate and I'll just sit here and kind of hold all this in my noggin.
We'll ask you at the end of the show.
And release it at an opportune moment.
Indeed. Now, speaking of releasing at an opportune moment, the premiere of your pilot episode of the show that you have been working on for a very, very long time indeed, that people can find right below the camera there. You can see Checkpoint Organization. That's spelt with an S, the British way, not the American way. If you go and have a look at that channel, you will find the first episode, which is called Intro to Mental Health, the Checkpoint series featuring Ken Levine, who should be very familiar to an awful lot of people. And if not, you have not been paying attention.
He makes games.
Indeed. Some rather good and famous ones at that, to say the least. I'd like to ask a couple of questions about that show. Why mental health and gaming?
Well, I'm a doctor, obviously, and I love video games. And so a few years ago, all I wanted to do was just hang around other people that also loved video games, because I was just basically living in a hospital. And so I started going to cons and I did a bit of YouTube. And during that time of my life, I realized quite how much people wanted to talk about mental health. As soon as I mentioned I was a doctor, as soon as I brought up that I specialize in mental health, there was this huge, it was kind of like a door starting to open. And then as soon as it opened a crack, just everything came through. People were really passionate about it. They wanted to talk about it. They wanted to share their experiences. They wanted to seek support from one another. They wanted to talk about how much video games had changed their lives and helped them. And I realized that I was in kind of a unique and privileged position that I could offer that for them. So I set up Checkpoint in 2016. And yeah, it's just kind of gotten bigger and bigger. We offer a supportive pro-mental health gaming community where we raise awareness, we reduce stigma, and we support each other. And we advocate for how amazing games can be for mental health. And there's research to support that this is a thing. And, you know, you can look at the clinical evidence, or you can look at the many, many people that come to me every day being like, this is a thing, thank you so much for doing it. And it's just,
yeah, there's a ton of anecdotal evidence that suggests it's like, gaming got me through this, gaming got me out of depression, gaming did this and that for me. And it's good to get rid of not only the stigma surrounding mental health, and there is a huge stigma surrounding mental health. The ability to even talk about it is difficult. And that in itself is ridiculous. We've talked about that on the show more than once. You know, we've all had our own brushes with mental health issues. We all continue to have that sort of thing go on. And
50% of people do. 50%. Yeah. It's so prevalent. And yet when you say that, people are so shocked because no one talks about it. Everybody keeps it deep inside and don't let my vulnerabilities show. And it's so powerful and so brave, and I'm so inspired by the people that come forward and are like, hey, I've been through this. I go through this every day. It doesn't change. I still have it. I still experience it. I just deal with it. And they empower others to do the same. And that's how we progress. And, you know, gaming is such a fantastic medium to do that, because we're all together all the time and we're all sharing this experience. So yeah, it's really powerful.
Yeah, and hopefully we will get to the point where it isn't difficult to talk about it, and it's not abnormal or an extraordinary thing for somebody to come forward about this sort of thing. It's something that we feel is very important on the show, certainly, and we would strongly suggest that after the show, if any of you have even a passing interest in it, or indeed are suffering and dealing with your own mental health issues, that you do head over to that URL you see on the screen right now, Checkpoint Organization, and you may find a few things there that will help you. A series which is going to be running for how many episodes, to the best of your knowledge?
We've got 16, and a making of / bloopers, and with the exception of Easter weekend and a day here and there, we'll be running until the end of April, every Monday and Thursday Australia time. So that's Sunday and Wednesday for you guys.
In the future, basically.
In the future.
In the far-flung, scary future. And there is one thing that we would suggest, by the way, and that's that you subscribe to the channel, of course, watch those videos. You may be aware of the recent change of rules on moving of goalposts that YouTube has been involved in when it comes to partnership. Now, subscriber-wise, you need to have above 1,000, which you now do, which is fantastic. Congratulations.
Thank you.
But you also do need 4,000 viewer hours, which sounds like a lot, but actually it really isn't. And
No.
I'm sure that you lot could certainly help them get there. So if you would like to watch one of their episodes, then by all means, you watch 3 hours of this nonsense every week. You can spare 20 minutes to go and watch their pilot episode, right?
That's true. That's true. If you
That
can
is
watch
true.
this,
You
can
don't have an
literally
excuse.
watch
Like,
anything.
we know that you waste your time with us. So go spend some quality time with them for a little bit. Great. Fantastic. Shall we talk about some video games? That sounds like a very good idea. Who wants to throw their hat in the ring first? Who's been playing what this week? What's been going on?
Hey.
Hi.
Hey.
Jesse looks excited for once. That's unusual. What do we got?
Monster.
Ah, right. Yes. Monster Hunter World.
Hunter. I just realized I can do that in my mouth, and I'm very excited. Anyway, Monster Hunter, y'all. Monster Hunter is 90% incredibly fun.
Okay.
5%, what were they thinking with this, like, online playing with friends thing? And then 5% cats. Wonderful palicos. Like, they cook your food, they carry your stuff, they just are the best thing in the world. The cat cooking scenes, people need to upload that. If you want to help,
big buff cat, that canteen cat is the best character.
if you want to help the world with mental health, every day just upload the scene of the cats cooking onto Twitter and just post it and be like, hey, hang in there. And then
Now-
the cats are just like, we're cooking. It's the best. And then the cat at the end's like,
so are there multiple cat cooking scenes? Because the one
Yes.
that I have seen is inferior, in my opinion, to the version on the PSP. I thought that was a better cat cooking scene than this one.
There are
I
many,
didn't know there
many-
was a rating scale for cat cooking scenes.
There
I'd
is
like
now.
to be involved in that.
Yeah, there is now. And I am saying that on the PSP, I think it was Monster Hunter Freedom Unite, which was the last game in that series that I tried to play. I think that cooking scene was better than the one that... But if you're telling me there's more than one, then that's okay. The only
There
one
are
I've
many.
seen
As
so
you level
far...
up and you get new recipes, I will say this. I've tried to order the veggie dish many times.
Okay.
Cats don't understand veggies. I get like
Right.
turkey legs. And I'm like, what?
No, that happens to me too. I keep trying to order the veggie one, and they're like, "Meat?" Like, oh, okay.
Even the fish, I'm like, yeah, I'll have a fish platter, and I just get like a giant bird. I'm like, wait, what? So yeah, cats, not the best with a menu, but great when it comes to actually cooking poultry.
The flavors are definitely there because
yeah. Oh, yeah.
we're always like, hell yeah.
I
Dad
love
Cat
that
is
that
my
is
favorite cat.
still
He
there.
is buff boy, and he just wants you to get gains. He's so good about it.
Yeah, he just growls at everybody. It's great.
I was a little bit
Um,
worried that making it look a bit more realistic and all that sort of thing might take away some of the silliness that Monster Hunter is known for. That does not appear to be the case.
No.
No, I
Not
even I made so my objective was, as everyone knows, Aloy's going to be in this. I love Aloy. So they are like, yeah, you can get her to be your character. So I made a little palico named Jessie, who's a little redheaded, and they got a little thing. It's perfect. But apparently Aloy's not in the game yet, so all you can do is make your cat into a robot, which
Okay.
I did. But I will say my objective was literally like, I'm just gonna play this thing till I get to rank 6, and then do this stupid thing, get Aloy for the goof, and like that's it. I can't remember the last time I played a game that much in once. I think I went 14 hours one day.
What?
Damn,
It's
you
been-
pulled a Sam.
Now,
It's
that is
been-
not healthy under any circumstances.
Agreed. Oh, I agree. I as I was explaining to Dodger yesterday, I can't remember what happened last week. You could tell me I did anything, and I'd been like, sure, okay. I like entered a different. I've never, and it wasn't like one of those things where like I played and I was like, oh man, I just gotta make it through this. It was time disappeared. Time flew by. I was having so much fun, and it's been a while since I've not only felt that way, but also like played that long. And oh yeah, I was the next day. I was like, oh boy, I don't want to touch any video games. I was like, I'm done. I don't. But man, it got me. So for a brief moment, I had that like I kind of get what Sam does. It's crazy and insane, but I kind of get it. And it was insane. That was Friday night into Saturday. It was 14 hours. And then everyone since then has proved to me that I am a weakling, and they have like 150 hours. I'm like, how's that even possible?
You
I
see,
didn't
this,
even
this
have
is,
to-
Do the literally the final fight of the game.
It's insane.
you see, this is the problem. Like, I bought the thing on console thinking, all right, this might be the game that I get to play with my friends. And then I leave for 5 minutes, come back, and everyone's like, no, but 140 hours in, bro. I'm like, what? Come
wait,
on.
I will-
I'm the same because I was in Florida for the weekend, and I was like, well, I guess it's only a couple of days. When I come back, then I'll like go ham on this game.
Don't
And
ever.
everybody that I know is like, yeah, well, I'm like rank 20 or whatever. I'm like,
Yeah, we're
"Oh,
farming like
what
elder
is it?"
dragons now and everything. It's like, so I don't know if you'd really have a place with us. Don't ever consider streamers or whatever your friends. No, they're not. They're not your friends. They're there to power through the game and all that sort of thing. You need to find somebody who is as slow and as lazy as you are when it comes to a game like Monster Hunter.
Oh,
I-
I'm not. I put in time, but I haven't beaten the story. I'm still like I've farmed.
I had to restart because mine was on the wrong account and you can't transfer save files.
Oof.
And I want to maybe play
I
with my
also
wife.
restarted, but it was because I was
So-
an idiot.
Yeah.
And you messed up your character creation. Yeah.
Yeah. But honestly, that's one of the ways that they make it so that with the better graphics, it's still really silly. They'll let you make a really dumb looking person, which is what I did.
Yeah, it's what Jen did. She spent a long time making
It's
a really
great.
dumb looking person.
My dude's eyes are like this, and his mouth is permanently like. and it's amazing. So in every cutscene, when a normal character is like, "Ha!" my dude's just like, It's so funny. I love it.
I tried to make like the coolest, toughest looking woman that ever existed. And in the character creation, she looks amazing. In the game, she's cross-eyed. So every cutscene, she's like ready for combat and staring in 2 different directions. It's insane. It's like, okay, sure, cool.
I basically just went with preset face. Like, I don't really care what my main character looks like. He's going to be covered in armor soon anyway.
That is
so
fair.
I'm not going to be able to see him. I do care what the cat looks like. So I'll spend a bit of time with the cat. Not that there's as many options with the cat, so I didn't spend as much time. I'll give him that. But yeah, it's good to dip back into Monster Hunter on a machine that can handle it and controls well, because good lord, the DS versions did not work for that. Not a good platform for handling that sort of thing.
So what's the ratio of like hunting monsters to cooking with cats?
Cooking with cats is a very low ratio in the game, but there are honestly lots of opportunities to interact with cats if that helps.
Yeah,
So there's a high reward. When it comes to the cat.
Especially when you get the best ingredients for the cats.
I'm giving you a link of my cat, the best cat, little Jesse. He's the cutest.
Oh my god, that cat is very cute.
I'm aware of his
He's like a steampunk cat.
Yeah, he's the best.
You did a cat sound.
Yeah.
Like meow.
Perfect. You are surrounded by
same
cats
things.
in this game. You get a cat that will accompany you on your adventures and tries its best, but isn't really very good at fighting. But
Yo, mine heals me all the time. Shout out to Sherlock the Palico.
They will also encourage you when it comes to barbecue, so that's good.
That's true. Here's the real thing. Go. I think it's either the Coral Hot. It's one of the places. There is a like little wild tribe of Palicos, and they have a thing called the Looterang. Level that shit up. That's like, they just throws it at monsters and like, hey, I got you some awesome stuff, Meowster, and you come back and he's got like 50 scales, and you're like,
that sounds perfect. I want that thing.
It's incredible. You don't even have to beat things. You can just fight them and they can run away. And then he'll be like, I got you like a pound of stuff. And you're like, you're the best ever.
Oh, what a sweet boy.
That does sound useful. I want that. I'm going to have to pursue that at some point. It's been a fun experience so far. I haven't played it with people. I would like to, but they're all level 150,000 now, so screw them. I guess I don't get to play with people.
I normally play these games by myself.
Look, you guys.
I think that they're good.
Let's co-optional it up. 1, 2, let's jump in.
Dude, that will never work. You know this. We never. It's hard enough getting the 3 of us together for this show on a weekly basis.
No, man,
getting us to actually play a game together.
I just want to farm and kill.
What rank are you, Jessup?
10, I think, 11, something like that. It's unimportant because I'm not like ultra. All I'll say is Krendor ditched us to go get power leveled by Sam.
Of course he did.
And now he's like, I can't play with you guys. I'm like high rank plus or whatever. And we're just like, cool, bro. Have fun.
That sounds like a Krendor thing to do.
That sounds right. Yeah.
It's like, it was like, guys, can I go? It's like, yeah, sure. We know what's going to happen here. We know invariably what's going to happen. You're going to go with the cooler kids later, but okay, sure. You can play with us for a couple of hours until you've upgraded to a better friend.
He has a bow, so he's pretty useless in combat. Or not a bow, he has like a gun thing.
Oh
so it doesn't matter what he has, it'd be useless anyway.
I don't know how anybody is effective with the gun.
Well, there's several kinds of gun, isn't there, in that game?
Yeah, there's bows and there's like the gun lance, and then there's a ton of stuff that you can use, but he's using like a crossbowy thing. I don't know what the hell he uses. But
a gun lance, as in like a lance.
Yes, a lance and a gun. Yep,
it's kind of like your squad from
Final
Fantasy.
Final Fantasy-ish, yeah.
It does exactly what it says on the tin. That's the wonderful thing about it.
Bow guns is what he's using, a bow gun.
Yeah, such as the Switch Axe, which is an axe that switches
Switch
into a sword.
Axes are always quality.
I'm using that. I picked that, and I was happy with my choice because I don't know if I'm doing the right thing with it yet. I'm sort of mostly flailing it around, but sometimes it turns into a thing that makes explosions happen. And I assume that's a good thing, as long as it's the monster that's exploding and not me. So I think I'm doing it right. I don't know, but that's the wonderful thing about not streaming the game. You don't have anyone to tell you that you're doing it wrong.
Oof. Yeah, I was trying to the insect glaive or whatever it's called. That's the first thing I picked because I was like, I get like a spear and then a little baby insect that comes like that. Oh, perfect. People are like, you are terrible at this. You have no clue what you're doing. So I was like, fine, I'm going to longsword, where all I have to do is attack, and then I have a bar that
I'm
raises.
gonna use a katani.
F y'all.
Doesn't
Fine,
matter.
I'll go with the
What I
easiest thing.
want.
They'll still tell you you're terrible at it, regardless of what weapon you picked. That is not a game I had any intention of putting in front of an audience. I'll tell you that. Like, it has too much history behind it. It's too, well, challenging, and people have played it for far too bloody long for you to put your newbie ways in front of them. Because they'll either want to backseat game you to the point where you would just want to leave, or they're going to insult you to the point where you're just going to want to leave.
I want to change my ratios before. 80% awesome game,
Okay,
5% cats cooking,
Right.
5% online frustration,
right.
10% overall monster frustration. F those. Some of those monsters, like, you fight them and they're just like, hey, peace out. And they just leave. You're like,
They
I
just
spent
leave,
45
yeah.
minutes on you. Yeah. So
Let us
That's
run
a
off.
lot of
That's
there's
when
a
you try
lot
to
of
jump
rage.
on them and do
Down that
things
flow
like that.
state, feeling so good.
Yep. Yep, it really does interrupt that. It's like, oh, God, I'm in this perfect core gameplay loop, and it's exactly where I need to be, and it's feeling, where are you going? Where are you going? My-
Those moments are so necessary.
My
so that you
combat
can be
trance
like,
is
"Ah,
broken.
I should sharpen my fucking weapon."
no, I mean, like, literally, they just, hey, I'm leaving the area, and they just go underwater and vanish forever. And you're like, but I cut off. There's one. He's like a tar thing, and he's all bones. I broke every bone off of him. I cut
Okay.
off his tail. I destroyed it. I was hunting him, and he's like, I'm
Well-
so badly hurt.
Well,
and
no
dying."
wonder he left then.
Jesse, are you okay? Do you need like a therapy session after the stream? can
I
hang
do.
around.
You have no clue.
Damaged by Monster Hunt.
Make
Oh,
sure you
damn
charge
it.
him a good rate. Trust me, there's a lot to unpack there. Oh man, it's great to see that it's going down well with people. I am irritated that it's been delayed as much as it is on PC, but it's a good game to sit down on the couch and play. Seems to run pretty well on PS4 Pro. I've been told if you're a person that likes your frame rate high, don't play it on a regular PlayStation because you're not going to get that. But it's mostly okay. Like, it doesn't stay at 60. It floats around a bit, but it's fine. Like, it's good enough. I turned it to best performance possible, and it's good enough. I mean, I think all of the Monster Hunter games have had performance issues anyway, so this is nothing new.
I'm fascinated by. Oh,
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I just played Little Nightmares, which is not anything to do with that if anyone's played that.
but it's really good.
We'll
good.
definitely
Really
talk
good.
about it, though, in a minute. Absolutely. I think Jesse and Dodger have played that one. But yeah, let's wrap up the Monster Hunter World thing. Everyone
just
seems
really
to be
quickly-
enjoying it, so...
Fascinated by the talk of numbers when it comes to the game, how it's the highest selling Monster Hunter ever in
Yeah.
just a weekend.
Yeah.
But also on the flip side, a lot of people are saying that it might bear out the same thing as Final Fantasy 15, which was like huge opening weekend, and then it'll take another year for it to sell even 1 million more copies. So I'm interested. I'm interested
Completely
to see,
front-loaded.
like, yeah. And because the people who want to play Monster Hunter have it already. And then I'm
maybe.
curious what PC sales 8 months or however many months from now are going to be like, and what that will look like, because maybe that will there'll be resurgence in popularity for PC users. I have no clue.
There might be.
But
I mean, I could see some people who are playing it on console now buying the PC version just to kind of start again and maybe have a second chance of playing with their friends or whatever, or maybe, to run it a little bit better and all that sort of thing. I could see that happening. I think for World, I don't think it's going to be a front-loaded success, because I think there will be the word spreading about, oh, this is a totally cool multiplayer game, you should come play it with me. Whereas with Final Fantasy 15, that was not the case. So
Sure.
I think it will probably grow as a result of that. And along with the people who end up just being too impatient to wait for the PC version, which I don't blame them for in the slightest. But it's good to see the success. It's obvious that, like, they did a little bit of westernization on it to make it a bit more appealing, but not enough to make it boring. That's what I was afraid the identity of it and the silliness would go away, and I'm very glad that it hasn't. I'm not a fan of, like, the first hour or so of the game. It's very scripted, but it was probably necessary, and it's been a fun experience regardless of that. So, yeah, I dig it. I think it's a good game, from what I can tell.
It's awesome.
Sure, I'll change my mind later when frustration kicks in with the latest whatever it is that murdered me 500 times in a row. We'll see.
Right. Always.
It's like I just needed that one item. Not getting it. Not going to happen.
I just need one scale so that I can have the full armor set. Why is this so fucking hard?
Nope. No, you don't get it. You don't get it. It's the MMO syndrome, isn't it? It's just, I just need to complete the set. Like, nope, we're not going to let you do it. We're going to make you grind until your knuckles fall off. That's just, wow, that would be a lot of grinding. Good lord, yeah.
Till they fall off.
Yeah, your knuckles. Like,
They're an empty space. It's not even a...
That's not even
dome.
medically possible.
What's gonna fall out?
Well, I just got told, rightfully so. So, Doctor, tell us a little bit about Little Nightmares, which is an awesome game, so I've been told.
It was good. More than that, I suppose.
How scary is
DLC,
Little Nightmares,
or...
I ask?
Yeah, I've been playing. There's like multiple DLCs, I think.
Yeah.
I'm playing the one with the water and the boy. I don't know what it's called.
The worst one, you mean? The scariest, most terrifying one that ever was, with the water woman.
I still haven't done any of the DLC. I need to just sit down and go ham on it.
There's a war woman, but don't worry, I got her.
Oh, good. Thank God. So when I play, she won't be there. Sick.
I fixed the world for you.
You fixed it.
Problem
Fantastic.
solved.
I thought it was such a beautiful amalgamation of like the spirit of, you know, Limbo and Inside, and then that kind of like Japanese cultural influences, and the controls were a little bit annoying, but it was very, very pleasurable few hours of my life while I didn't do other stuff. And Freddy Krueger's in it, so you know everybody wins.
Great.
I was not aware of that.
But it's not. It's a man with like very, very small legs and like a skin mask and very long arms, and he grabs, but he looks like Freddy Krueger, or
Fair
if
enough.
anyone's seen Rick and Morty, Scary Terry.
I know who you're talking about now.
Yeah.
Yes. I was like, Freddy Krueger's in that game. Man, I really need to play the DLC.
No, the caretaker. I keep doing this
that
to say
guy.
that's gonna help, but yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah, he's Scary Terry.
Yeah, the last time that we talked about this game, and I still hold to this, I was saying that there are, even though it's been a while since I've played that game, there are scenes from that game that are so vivid for me. Like aesthetically, it's such, it's so well done and well put together, and it like freaks you out exactly the amount that it wants to.
Yeah, it's
You
beautiful.
know? Yeah.
That's what really surprised me about that game, is that a game with that kind of aesthetic has the ability to freak you out in that way.
Mm.
Because some would argue that it's a little bit cutesy in some ways. But then again, you can look at, say, another scene that's on the screen right now. It's like, oh, adorable little girl dragging that seat. Oh, that's a hanging person. Right.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
the direction, like the camera direction, that was just fabulous.
Yeah, in particular, I was like, well, that is terrifying.
Mm.
It was really lovely, and there was the little pyramid head toy things that you chase, and then you give them
little kids.
You give them a little cuddle.
Yeah, that's all that happens.
And that's all
That's
that
it.
happens.
That's all that happens to them.
Well, I don't know. I put them down holes when I could. When I had the opportunity to put them down a hole, they went down that hole.
Perfect.
Nothing happens, but I felt good.
Well, you just had to make sure. Honestly, because a game like that, it could screw you over for not doing something like that. You could just to be sure.
Yeah, you got to try. I also put well, no, there was a couple of things that unlocked if you did stuff that instinctively you would do, like jumping on the bed a whole bunch. That was an achievement.
That's good.
So of course I was just like, I'm jumping on a bed. There's that achievement unlocked. Woo! And like I just tidied up quite a lot because there was a few rooms that had like children's toys, and I just put all the toys in the drawers and shut the drawers because it's a falling hazard.
It's true.
And you get an achievement for that as well, so it's perfect.
I don't know that you did.
It wouldn't surprise me.
I think
I've
I
got
just
the achievement
did it.
list now.
Because I play games the way that I get told off for enjoying them the way that I want to enjoy them.
I think a lot of developers up to this point are now getting the psyche of certain kinds of players, and they're deliberately putting things in to either appeal to those people or subvert it. There's a lot of that. I love it when they subvert. It's like, you think you're one step ahead of the dev, and it's like the dev has clearly thought about what silly, smug thing you're going to do, and then messes with you on that level.
Yeah, for sure.
That's brilliant. I love it. I like it when devs show me things that I didn't know I enjoyed. Like,
That's cool.
Like they put like a feature in the game that I'm like, oh, that's really cool. I'd never
really
considered.
satisfying.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm looking at these secret achievements for it, and it's like, yep, there's the achievement for jumping on the bed.
7 times, if I'm correct.
At least 6. So I'll
go.
give you that. I think that's fair. That's fair.
Nailed it.
Kitchen hand.
What a thing to have memorized. I've got an exam coming up in a few weeks, but
There you go.
But this is
I know
far
all
more
the secret
important.
achievements. Yeah, absolutely.
That'll be the one thing that is front and center in your mind when you take that exam, and you'll just be like, "Ah, this is the worst." It's just that nightmare that comes in your dreams when it comes to exams. Oh, here's a interesting one. Throw 3 ingredients into the large pot in the background of the main kitchen area. You get kitchen hand for that.
I did that.
Yeah.
You can throw it like it says ingredients. So and there's like a fish head and like vegetables lying around, but you can throw soap in and that works.
All right. Soap. Wow. Okay. There's also one involving the piano.
Yes.
Yeah. When you reach the piano that hangs from the ceiling, hit every key to complete the achievement.
I'm a bit of one of the like I'm a bit of a completionist.
You just
That's-
want to touch everything.
Nothing wrong with that.
Not a
I
bad
don't do the
thing.
hard ones though.
Nothing wrong with that.
I got platinum trophy on Uncharted Lost Legacy. It was my first platinum, and I was very proud.
Damn.
It's pretty easy.
I don't think I'll ever get close to a platinum on anything or the equivalent of one. I'm an anti-completionist. I play as many games as I can, and I never finish any of them. It just doesn't happen. If I finish a game, it's generally by accident. I didn't mean
in like
to.
you don't even do the main quest.
Oh, I'll do a bit of it, and then I'm just like, I like tasting different things. I like
If I finish the
trying
game, it's
as
by
many games
It's like
as possible.
tapas. It's
Yeah.
like video game tapas. I'll
That's
have
exactly
a little
what
bit
it
of this
is.
Final Fantasy game, a little bit of this game.
Yeah,
But I'm not going
and
to finish a meal.
I have my fill of games pretty easily, and I'm like, you know what? I got what I needed out of that. I'm moving on now because we have so many more things, and there are just a ludicrous number of games that exist. And a lot of them are trying really cool
There's
new
no
things.
games. Nothing
Yes,
comes
of
out
course.
ever.
Yes, that that wonderful prevalent attitude of the games industry it's ruined. It's ruined. Everything's a loot box now, and there's no games other than FIFA and Overwatch and Hearthstone, and everything's
FIFA.
terrible. No.
Like, does that still exist?
FIFA? Oh, yeah, very much.
The concept?
FIFA? Well, no.
Does FIFA exist?
Well, one, yes.
I mean, the organization
was
does.
gonna-
I thought we were
Is
getting
this an
like real
existential
crazy meta here. Like, does
question
FIFA
here?
exist? Are games real? I was like, I don't know. What? I don't know.
It's a way for EA to make a sickening amount of money from gambling addicts. I know that much. But
That's not good.
no, it is not. As we have discussed on the
Very
show
limiting.
many times, that is not a good thing at all. But when it comes to games for me, I'm just like, I'm seeing so many cool ideas and evolutions on other ideas, and they're popping up on a daily basis on Steam. I was like, I can't spend 100 hours with one game. There's so much more to try out. There's so much more to go through. So it's a buffet for me.
So much. I think I've spent 100 hours on Animal Crossing Pocket Edition. I'm like level 52. It's really hard to level up in that game.
I think that's on purpose, because they would really, really like you to spend money, and you're muted, Dodger.
The incline becomes impossible, is all that I said.
It really does. But
That's on purpose.
I can't stop.
For sure.
Just terrible. I tried sorry, Dodger, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say I have a game that just came out that I am in love with and I've almost beaten.
All right, what is it?
It's called Celeste.
Yes.
It's a fantastic platformer by the people who made Towerfall, which a lot of people probably know how much I loved Towerfall. So in terms of like the mechanics and how it feels to play it, it feels very Towerfall-y. But the concept of the game is that you're playing a girl named Madeline who is trying to climb to the summit of a mountain. And she's not a mountain climber, but it's just something that she feels like she has to do. And it's like the characters are adorable. The way that all of the different levels are set up and sort of the more intense situations story-wise that are set up are just done so well. They're like kind of equivalents to like boss situations a few times in this game that make you so tense and make you freak out so bad, but it's just great. I'm absolutely loving this game. I'm on the summit right now, but it's like the longest part of the game, so it's taking me a little while to get through it, but I've almost beaten it and I'm absolutely in love with it.
The exploration of mental health themes in that game are exquisite.
Yeah. I wanted to bring it up right away because I was like, oh my gosh, speaking of mental health, like the whole concept of the game is that she's having to face her inner demons as she's like climbing this mountain, and it's just beautiful. Done so well. I love it.
It is, and the way that they integrated the mechanic into it of when she has the panic attacks and you have to deliberately calm yourself down, and it's like we're actually teaching the player frustration tolerance and emotional regulation. Like that's actually what's happening right now.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's so good. It's so good. I love it. I love it so much. I'm really excited to see how it ends, but I think I'm like maybe a half an hour away from beating it. But it's so fun. And it I don't know. I've played some really frustrating platformers on TV. I know that like difficult platformers are not your ish.
They're not exactly my genre of choice. Given a choice of games, yeah, I would generally avoid them.
But I feel like, I don't know, I've played some that have been frustrating to the point where you're like, I fucking give up. And I think that this one is the perfect amount of frustrating. Every area introduces some kind of a concept that makes it really intriguing to figure stuff out. There are collectibles in the game, but the game tells you right away, like, you don't have to get these to have like a true ending, right? Like these exist if you want to go for them, and if not, you're good. Like, just experience the game, which I appreciated a lot.
It's nice to be told that right off the bat, isn't it?
Yeah, I was very delighted that the game did that.
Well, yeah, all I'm hearing about this game is it reminds me of the reception that Meat Boy got when it came out. Like, in terms of this might be the best platformer that's ever been made kind of situation. And we're starting to get that sort of vibe with this.
It's quite Meat Boyish, but less squishy.
I'm watching the footage that you
I
have
would
playing,
not.
and it's just whoever's playing just jumping a lot, just like jumping up and down in the same spot over and over again. And it's making me laugh.
It's wholesome.
I'm looking at it and I'm thinking to myself, I would not. There's too many spikes here. There's too many things to fall down. I don't know if the game's attempt to teach me frustration tolerance would be enough to get me over the inherent frustration that I find when it comes to these kind of games.
Right.
Yeah, it's a personal decision though. Hey, like when you get into it, you're like, am I like, it's like Dark Souls. It's like, am I going to have the dedication to overcome how really, really annoying this is going to be to get that like sweet reward here at the end of it? Or shall I just not bother at all and go and play something that makes me feel good instantly? Like it just depends what you want and what you're into.
I like when a game is really difficult and the payoff is that the story is fantastic.
Yeah.
Like that's always such a good feeling. Like, oh my God, all my hard work was for something, you know?
I'm going to assume you felt the exact opposite about Dark Souls then, because there really wasn't a story payoff for any of that.
No, for Dark Souls, the payoff for me was like, I have to face this boss over and over and over again, and then I feel satisfied because I figured out how to beat it.
That's fair. I don't know, sometimes I find satisfaction in that. A lot of the time I don't, really. There's been certain games where, probably because it's just been on stream, where I felt, right, I've hit a wall, I need to beat it because I'm on stream, there's people watching, etc. Or it's part of a video where, I mean, the Meat Boy video that I did years ago was a great example of that. I could have very easily just cut it off during that first boss, but like, you know what? No, we're not going to stop this bloody video until I've beaten this bloody boss. And eventually we did, and that did feel pretty good, but I don't chase that all the time.
I got really confused then. You were like, I could have easily just cut it off, and I didn't realize you were talking about the stream. And I'm like,
definitely that.
What would you? What?
When dealing with
Stone?
When dealing with Meat Boy, yeah. I mean, we would. I cut off the knuckles, but apparently there's nothing there to cut off, so can't cut that off. I don't. Oh, there's a tendon there. All right. Well, I guess we could just slice that up then. Anyway, outside of the self-harm bit, it's not an. I was about to say it's not an experience I actively pursue, and like, no, this sentence is still going wrong. There's just no way to salvage it. Abandon ship at this point.
We did a big research study last year, and we did a similar one the year before. I think we had something like a total of 4,000 or 5,000 respondents, and we asked, do you think that games have a psychological or emotional benefit? And we did like a Likert scale style survey, but as well as that, we asked like which games, and there was a few that just came up persistently again and again and again, and Dark Souls and Demon Souls were one of them. And it just surprised me so much, because I don't like frustration core games at all, but people really, really get a lot out of them in terms of like that emotional fulfillment,
like overcoming, right?
Yeah,
overcome
exactly.
Something. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I sort of wish that was a thing for me, because it sounds pretty cool, but I don't. It's happened before. It's just it doesn't happen consistently.
Well, I think it's like a cost-benefit thing, right? Where I've had moments where it's been like, yeah, I finally beat that thing and I overcame it. And then I look back on those moments and I'm like, yeah, but that was like 5 hours. And boy, do I not want to do that again.
I could have played a different game for those 5 hours.
Yeah, like I played 5 different games for 1 hour.
I could have, I could have indulged in my buffet of my Steam buffet once again and tried something else. And
I thought you just meant like the buffet that's always going on at your house.
Yeah. That is actually what happens. For those who haven't visited and know you don't get to come.
It's like a China buffet up in there.
Constant buffet.
Like
Some incredible.
I mean, to be
Yeah.
fair, with the amount of curry sauce that's in this house right now, we might as well.
Dude, I've been following your journey with curry sauce. It's been
I've
been a
been
quality endeavor.
quite determined to gain access to this, both Chinese and I can tell you for a fact that someone here will back me up on this because they're British and they understand. Chinese takeaway curry sauce.
Yeah.
Yes, good stuff.
On chips, yeah.
Yeah, on chips, obviously on
Yeah,
chips.
yeah,
You can have
yeah.
chips and fried rice and mash them up a bit, right? That's the best.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
there you
like
go.
proper mash it. So
Yeah,
it's,
proper
like
mash it
potato
up.
mashing.
Exactly, and it's just as a curry stodge by that point. You could put some noodle in there. You can have some chicken in there, maybe. But yeah, you've got to mash it up, and you can eat, couple of kilos of it just in a big tray. Just keep
Just
going.
carbs and curry sauce.
It's perfect. There we go. Good. I'm glad I've got backup on this. Can't get it in the US. Just not
Can't
a
get
thing.
it in either.
That sounds
Yeah.
fucking weird. I gotta be real with you. That
I'm with
sounds
Dukes.
like
I'm with Dukes. That's weird.
You don't understand. You don't. I will.
rice, fries, curry sauce, and
Yep.
maybe
Mashed up.
chicken, and you mash it.
Yeah, mash it up. Just mash it up. You can get it delivered. Look, next time you go to CoxCon, yeah, it's fantastic. Next time you go to CoxCon, there is at least 2 Chinese takeaways that deliver to the hotel that you stay at. I know this because I have had it delivered there multiple times. Just order, and there'll be the best thing is this is on the menu because they understand that so many British people want this combination. Order chips, fried rice, curry sauce. You just order that, and it comes as a tray. It's about a kilo in terms of weight. It's about 2 pounds
I don't know
worth
what
of
that
this.
means. What is a
2
kilo?
pounds? About 2.2 pounds, I think.
That's a big meal. Okay.
Yep, and you just go, and you just keep eating, and it is a massive, delicious carb load. It's wonderful.
It doesn't make sense, but okay.
It makes
You know
perfect sense. You can fold
doesn't
it in if you
make
want. If you
sense.
don't want to mash it, you can fold it in a little bit. That's okay as well, just as long as everything's soaking in it. And I've had to import Chinese curry sauce from the UK, and I found a brand that tastes good, and I'm happy with that. But I've also been chasing katsu curry, the Japanese stuff, and I've ordered a lot of that, and I may have ordered too much because I think I have about 90 servings of it now, and that's too much for one man.
But you found a good one.
I found some good brands by eating all of the brands. So, yeah. I actually had a curry Ichiban, Coco Ichiban, isn't it? I think,
yeah.
which is the actual Japanese chain. I had one of those before the show. They just do it in a bag, boil in a bag, and it was delicious. It was like one of the best curries I've ever had, and it came out of a bag. What are we doing? What are we doing? Because apparently we can't cook for anything. If they can beat us by having something that you boil in a bag in a pan, we're rubbish at
You
this.
sound like you're making a confession. Like you sound really guilty.
I do not feel in the slightest bit guilty for what I'm doing with the curry sauce right now. I might feel guilty for some of the things I've been doing with the air fryer lately, but not the curry sauce. I'll say that. That
Your
reminds me.
dedication to air frying everything has been
Air frying everything, yes.
fascinating.
I have a smart oven, and one of its features is an air fryer, which
Sorry, you're gonna have to break down for me the concept of air frying.
concept of what's the best thing to
You know
Right.
how in the movies when like someone gets hit by a nuclear blast, there's like they vaporize. It's like
Yes.
that, but with food.
sort of, yeah. It's
I mean,
very, very hot air. It's like super convection, basically. It's you cook with very, very hot air that constantly circulates around the food, and it generally results in a very crispy food product that comes out the other end of it. So, almost like deep fat frying something,
like a kamehameha.
but
And
with
they go
just air. It's actually much healthier than regular frying because you can do it without oil, and it's. But I've been trying to air fry everything in the house up to this point, and I think some of them have not been the best successes that they could have been. Let's just put
What
it
was
that
the
way.
what was the best and what was the worst?
Best I've done with it, if you put beer battered cod in there, perfect. Really,
Wait, it's
really
already beer battered and you're putting it in
well, it's America. I'm not going to find good fish and chips here. I have to go, it's frozen. The nice thing about it is it turns frozen food into something far more edible. When it
Well, you can't eat them when they're frozen.
Well, no, it's why you put it in the air fryer, and it's much, much better by the end of it. It tastes like it was actually real fish at some point. So that's great. I was happy with that. The worst result...
TV's figured out how to lie to himself really well.
Yeah.
I've been in
America.
America for 5 years. There are certain compromises that need to be made, unfortunately, to remain here. The worst result, I did manage to dry something out to the point where it was essentially inedible. I'm trying to remember what. I think I was trying to make a sort of panko chicken of some sort, and I just dried it to the point where I could have probably thrown it and it would have been an effective tool of breaking windows rather than actual food. It was just rock solid. So I messed that up. I'm saying that. But for the most part, great gadget. Wonderful. There's my food segment of the show.
Sounds great.
I
Yep.
enjoyed it. Thank you
Air
for
frying.
sharing.
I endorse air frying and smart ovens. Toaster ovens, they have endured this once before. My previous model of toaster oven got about 3 weeks of featuring on this show because I was learning about all the different features. I was like, well, yeah, but you can do this in a toaster oven and it's so much more convenient and blah, blah, blah. But now I also have an air fryer in there. So they're going to have to deal with several more weeks of this.
I genuinely didn't know smart ovens were a thing.
They are wonderful.
Ever since TB said that he got one that was also an air fryer, I was like, oh shit. I've really wanted like a toaster oven. If I can get basically
A smart toaster oven, one that's like
Yeah, if you can get
if
that.
if I can get a little countertop oven that can also be an air fryer, like that would be amazing.
Well, you can, because I own one. It's wonderful.
Can it replace my microwave?
Yes, because
Can
microwaves
I
are
basically just
terrible.
microwave stuff in there?
Yeah,
but like
Cool.
absolutely.
what
Then I'll get
about
one.
like a little oven that's just for like pizza bagels? How much are those?
Actually, the smart oven
about-
is really good for pizza bagels, because not only does it have a pizza mode, it has a bagel mode as well.
Shit.
yeah,
So
pizza.
you press
can have,
both buttons at the same time.
Yep.
so you can have like the crunchy outside of a bagel,
Yep.
but the light, not ruined inside of a bagel,
Yep.
and pizza on top of that.
Yep. Just do it half on one, half on the other. Perfect. Or air fry it. You could just air fry it.
Life changing. Life
Just saying.
changing.
There you go.
I'm not gonna
What's
air
a
fry
pizza bagel? I'm sorry.
What's a pizza bagel? It's
It's
exactly
it's pizza
what it-
toppings on half of a bagel.
Yeah.
it's.
Like-
America
Oh.
again. America. Yeah.
Yeah,
We figured out how to turn everything into a
put anything
They
on a
do
bagel.
do
we have
that.
whole
It is
shops
true.
and restaurants designed on putting shit on bagels.
That is true. We
That
have
is what
entire
we
chains that
do.
are all about like what can bagels become.
That is true, which is odd because,
Sounds great.
and as far as I'm concerned, there are only two valid things to put on a bagel. One is butter, and the other is cream cheese. And putting both on is also fine.
Yeah, but like then you can get a
Not
bagel.
quite
sandwich.
American enough yet.
Oh my god, you can get like
We'll work on it.
Where's the
what?
meat?
You can put smoked salmon on it. That's all right.
Anything that
That's very good.
It's
Some
pretty much
lax
anything
meat.
you get at your standard like deli, like a pastrami or a like a roast
I don't
beef.
like
Then
that.
You just put it on a
I'm
bagel
not a
and
fan.
it's like
Yeah, but bit of pastrami, bit of like Swiss cheese, or
Sauerkraut
something,
on
I
there?
don't know.
Oh,
Just,
yeah!
yeah.
yeah,
Get a Reuben. Get me a Reuben.
So
Hell yeah.
glad you were.
but then on a
really into
bagel,
that.
just on a bagel.
Yeah,
Reuben bagel.
I'm hungry
Oh,
now.
Lord.
It's 8:00 in the morning. I ain't had breakfast yet.
You know what I saw? By the way, since we're on food, I'm gonna say this. Saw an article. I've been saying this for years. Pizza, one of the best breakfasts you can have.
Oh, yeah,
Well,
cool.
yes,
Totally proven.
breakfast pizza, obviously.
Just
As
just
in-
like normal
no.
pizza
Normal pizza that's been in the fridge overnight.
is a
Best
better
breakfast.
breakfast than most breakfasts that you can have that like pitch you as like breakfast food. Pizza, just better.
Well, are you talking on a scientific level here? Like there's an actual article
Yeah.
proving this, not just
Yes,
preference.
Because of all the things like it has it has the potential to be better. Unless you have like an ultra meat pizza, then you're probably screwing yourself. But like if you have vegetables, because it has tomato and cheese and bread, so it's like all these things you need to like get started
Cheese,
rather than
the
just
most
like
well-known vegetable.
a bowl of cereal, right?
Well,
So it's just
yeah,
like-
I mean, really, there's not much in most bowls of cereal that's all that useful, really. Not to your body.
most breakfast is pretty jank, and so
but it
it's
is
saying
something
that like
that a person who's barely awake can assemble and actually.
That
make.
is very true. That's the thing you have to understand about breakfast food is overcomplicating it becomes a problem. It's like I'm half awake. This is why I mess up flipping the eggs as consistently as I do.
that's why.
Which is about 70% of the time. I'll break
Or
at
you get a
least
breakfast
one
pizza
yolk.
with you have an egg cracked on that shit. Oh my god!
Put
TB,
an
next
egg
time
on
you're
it.
here-
Yeah,
there was a
put an egg
place-
on it.
TB, there was a place.
I'll do it.
I thought we were
Near me
still
in
talking
Venice.
about cereal.
You
and I
don't
was
have to
imagining
convince me.
cracking
You
it.
don't have to
Yes.
pitch me on this.
Breakfast
I'm already in.
N.A. It's so good.
I'm already in.
Take you,
I'm-
get you in the car.
Endorsement
drive
not
you
required.
over there.
I'm all in with you. That's good. We can do that. Anyway, now that we've made our guest very hungry who has not had breakfast yet, go get some breakfast. We'll have a little break. Go get some cereal or something, or whatever it is that you've
I'm
got.
alright, mate.
No, I don't believe you for this in the slightest.
I've had a
Breakfast,
coffee.
that's not
I'm
real
ready to grab me
breakfast.
One of those.
Breakfast, most important meal of the day. We'll be right
There's a
back
great
after the
campaign.
break to talk more about video games, possibly, or we could go back to food. That might work as well. We'll be right back after the break. Do not go anywhere.
Buy my goddamn shirts.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Co-Optional Podcast. Hopefully you had a wonderful break. The sounds of Zerk on the World Circuit playing Tandoori Beats there. Highly recommended that particular album and anything by Zircon, actually. Just get everything he's ever done. It's great.
He is great.
He is great, no doubt. All right. Let's get on to a few more games we've been playing this week. Well, I can tell you for a fact, I think the current record with my wife at Antihero is now 2-20 in her favor.
Damn.
God damn it.
Crushing you.
It's interesting, as I said last week, to play the same game against the same person over and over and over again and have one person be clearly better than the other and try and figure out how to beat them. I have to imagine that's how fighting games feel for a lot of people. This
But at
is
least
it's crushing.
with anti-hero, you have time, right? You have time to think to your like when it's their turn.
It's worse. It's worse that you have time. You get to dwell on your failings. It's like, how am I good at she's got 75% of the map. I can't know. How did she even get to this point?
Right.
She's very, very good at it. I'll say that. And she knows me too well. That's the problem. That's the main problem. Because she sees what I'm about to do before I do it, and then I walk right into her trap over and over again. That's been happening to me a lot.
Is anti-hero on mobile yet or no?
It's on mobile, which is exactly why I've been playing it so much. Because we do play by email, basically, with iPads and stuff like that. And it's crossplay. So you can take a turn on PC if you want, or you can take a turn on your phone if you want. All crossplay.
Smart.
Yeah, it's very, very good. Very, very good. I imagine since they put it on mobile, nobody bought it because it costs actual money and nobody buys games on mobile.
It's so good though. Chat,
It is.
If none of you have played anti-hero yet, this game is so fucking good.
It is very good.
Just support it.
Yeah.
Grab
it's
it.
got a nice little campaign as well. So
Yep.
there is content there. But I've been playing a couple of other mobile games that have turned out to be pretty good. Meteorfall being one of them. This came out
I've been
only a
playing
few days
Meteorfall
ago.
as well, because I was like, man, ever since finding Spire, I really
Yeah.
want to play games that are dungeon crawlers / deck
Deck
builders.
builders,
Are more
yep.
of those existing?
That very specific genre. Yeah, I had exactly the same feeling. And as it turns out, Meteorfall, which is, let's get it right out of the way right now, it is not going to replace your Slay the Spire craving if you have one of those.
No.
It's not. And the reason for that is because it's a lot simpler. It's a lot
It's much
shorter.
more mindless, and it's much easier to gain, like what Spire calls energy in this game is called stamina.
Yeah.
And the game makes it really easy to just have tons of stamina, so you can just use all of your cards. You don't have to think about it.
Yeah, there's not a huge amount of as much decision making anyway. It's sort of they use the left-right swipe mechanic quite nicely, and indeed when I say swipe, I'm being quite literal because often the cards are taken away by a bear for some reason. Just giant bear paw comes off and swipes the cards off the screen. The art style for this game is wonderful. It's very adventure time. It's probably the best way to describe the inspiration.
Yes.
So, art style
feels very Adventure Time. I agree.
Yeah, it is there's 4 classes to play with, and it's quite short, and there are a few cards to unlock. And I would say in order to beat the game, I may be wrong on this, maybe I was just terrible, you have to unlock all 3 of each class's card, because those cards replace their worst cards in the default starter deck, which makes the game easier as a result. But
yeah, the game gives you opportunities to get rid of cards. But...
quite often, actually. It's nice. Yeah. The deck building aspect of it is good. The combat aspect of it is a lot simpler than something like Slay the Spire is. And, there's fewer events and things like that. It's a shorter experience. It's a quicker experience. It's a $3 game that's a good few hours of entertainment. That's how I'd best describe it.
One thing that I would also say is that it actually does a good job of very simply kind of explaining to you how to think about a deck builder. Like it takes the time to just in like one sentence, just be like, hey, we're gonna, choose your cards. Remember, maybe don't take all of them. Like think about how to have a simple deck.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, it's cool that they take the time to say that instead of just assuming that you'll play the game enough that you'll figure that out,
Yeah, it's pretty important in Meteorfall as well. Like, you can definitely get completely card screwed, and that will get you killed in this game and wipe your progress completely. But it's nice, it's well presented, it's cheap, it's cheerful. It definitely scratched the deck builder itch a little bit for me. And iOS does not have enough deck builders on it. I have discovered. I have been looking for them, and all of the deck builders on iOS I'm pretty sure I own already. Yeah. I did find one that I don't own, which I now do, called Xenoshyft, which is a translation of a physical card game deck builder, which is it's almost like a tower defense game, where you're defending your sort of colonial outpost against a StarCraft-like alien Zerg attack, and you're doing that by spending your resources to buy troops and gear, and then there's a combat phase where you place things in specific order and stuff like that. And that's good. I like that a lot. That's a good solid deck builder. And of course we know about Ascension and its million expansion packs, and you could probably just play Ascension forever if you're enough into Ascension and you just want to play a card deck builder. Ascension's
great.
Yeah, you've got enough content there forever. But those whole dungeon crawler deck builder things, which Slay the Spire is, I want to play more on mobile of those. There's actually another one that I found on Steam that looks really promising. I think it's just called Monster Slayers. And
I've heard of it. I'm gonna look it up right now.
It looks like it does some things that Slay the Spire doesn't. And it looks like, as a result, it might be pretty entertaining. It is a deck builder roguelike adventure. It's actually fully released. It's not in early access. And apparently it was a remake and rebuild of a game that used to be on Congregate years and years ago.
Oh, I love Congregate.
Yeah, Congregate was full of all sorts of wonderful things. You could play the original for free on Congregate. But Monster Slayers, which is $9, is available on Steam. Sadly, not on mobile. That was the first thing I was hoping. It's like, oh, please be on mobile. Nope. They haven't done a mobile port of this. But it's got a nicer art style. It's got loot in it. It's got randomly generated epic loot, which you could equip to your characters, and it's got like a party system going on with it. So this looks like it might be worth a shot for those who have been binging Slay the Spire lately. So I would have a look at that. I haven't had the chance to play it yet, though. So that's that. Yeah, so that's stuff I've been playing on mobile at any rate.
I have this game on mobile. You guys might have talked about this before. It's called TabiKaeru.
It's called what?
TabiKaeru. It's TabiKaeru. I might be saying that wrong.
No, I've never played that. What is it?
It's from the people who made Neko Atsume.
Oh.
So
Right, this could take a while.
I've got a bee in my place.
What?
So I've got a little friend. He's a frog, and he goes on adventures, and he sends me pictures home. And I give him. For some reason, there's a bee in my garden. I've never seen this bee before.
Oh, it's a cute bee at least.
It's a very cute bee. So
here
he is, like he's eating some dinner at the moment. Sorry, it's not focusing very well.
He is eating dinner. He doesn't look happy with dinner, though. He's like, it's soup again.
He is.
Bees are horribly ungrateful.
He always looks pretty angry.
Aw.
He's so cute. And you put things in his backpack. And he takes them away on his adventures. And depending on what you put in his backpack, that dictates kind of where he goes and how far he goes and what he does while he's there, and therefore the pictures that you get back from him. It's not been translated to English, so I got no idea what's going on. I got no clue whatsoever. But it's fun nonetheless. And that's my story for today.
Adorable.
You can tell by looking at it immediately that it's by the Nico Atsumi people. When you just look at the art style of it, it's pretty clear. Which is good. They've got an identity, there's no doubt about that.
It's what I look for in a mobile game, something that requires almost no cognitive function whatsoever. Something that I just be like, right, cool. Just zone
like
out.
The Animal Crossing mobile game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All it requires is a functional credit card.
I spent no money on that game ever.
$0 dues.
Yeah, but you can't do anything now, can you?
Yeah, I'm level 52, mate.
Damn.
I do what I want.
Within a very strict set of limitations.
Yeah, but I got an elephant. She hangs out with me.
All right.
And
that
she
makes
skates.
it all better.
I've got a half pipe in my campsite, so.
Nice.
Have you got a half pipe in your campsite too?
I never installed that game. I have no intention of installing it.
I did not put a half pipe in my campsite.
It's not really a game, honestly. It's more of a time waster.
What is a game?
Does
FIFA exist?
I actually have an answer to that, so
Does FIFA exist?
do not bring this up because I did like a 35-minute video on what a game is. I can actually answer that question, and you don't want to hear it. Trust me.
Game needs.
Oh dear.
And I'm thanking you for giving it to me.
What a girl! What a girl is!
Oh,
So proud of you two.
I don't know which of you is worse. Like it's a really solid three-way tie.
I love it.
Oh dear.
This is how I thought this would go.
Yeah.
I'm glad
We
that you had
anticipated that.
accurate expectations for this podcast.
That is good. Yeah, the last thing we want is people coming in expecting something sensible or productive. You're getting neither of those.
I get so bored. People expect me to come on things and be like on with the doctor stuff. I'm like,
No,
just talk about video games.
Well, that's the problem. We can't really do that either, but we don't expect anything else out of you. So, there's the compromise at that point.
Yeah.
You don't have to
Pizza
worry
bagels.
about that.
And pizza bagels.
Yeah, we talked about pizza. We did. Wow.
We did.
This podcast has actually been very off topic already.
Yeah, we ran off the
And
rails.
the song states, pizza in the morning, pizza in the evening, pizza at supper time. When pizza's on a bagel,
you can eat
pizza anytime. Anytime.
It just sounds like you're an ad at this point.
That is an ad. That's actually an ad.
Yes. That's why we both know it.
That's
But I like them with
insidious
the
to me.
actions as well. Like but you did the actions in perfect.
You see how insidious it is? This is what American advertising does to kids as they're growing up. It burns it into their brain. It's like tattooing the cerebellum with these products. It's terrible.
That's
Look,
amazing.
I have to say, one of the big pros to watching British television is no ads for pharmaceuticals.
Yes.
It's like, wow.
Well, that's a good pro to
weird.
watching
I go to America and I'm
every
like,
country.
what is this?
Yeah,
Nothing.
it's absurd. It's absolutely absurd. Or hearing it on the radio and then hearing their list of side effects at 5,000 times the speed of what a human is capable of hearing. That's
And they,
just
I think by law they have
insane.
to
Might have been
list
in there.
all of the possible
Yeah, they do.
side effects.
Oh, yeah.
Anything that anybody's ever reported, even if it's like 1 in
Death.
10 million.
death. Includes death most of the time.
Includes
yeah.
death almost every time.
But it'll
Everything
kill you.
includes death. I go out. I leave the house tonight at higher risk of death.
Yeah.
It will cure your constipation.
I'm very
I do
happy
have
to
bad
not have
constipation,
You
thank
could die, but
Live
it'll
television
make your
anymore.
bowels clean.
It's a good thing you're drinking the coffee then.
Yeah.
See, she's already on it. She's already fixing it.
Don't worry,
Yeah.
guys. I'm a professional.
She's a doctor.
ask your doctor if this is right for you. It
Is
won't
it right
be. We can
Don't
pretty much
ask
guarantee.
me,
No.
please.
All right.
No, we're
Like
not.
you can ask a doctor, but not me.
Yes, not this specific one.
Is coffee right for me?
Yes.
Potential death.
Potential. You could die from
I
coffee.
mean, people
Oh,
have.
250 milligrams in a day is caffeine intoxication you can get. I spoke that like Yoda, but you kind of got the picture.
Can I
250
ask you the
milligrams
question?
of
What are the symptoms of
caffeine.
caffeine? What did you say?
Overdose.
Caffeine intoxication.
Caffeine intoxication.
Intoxication. That's what I was looking for. What are the symptoms? Can I tell you? Can I regale you a story of when I was young and in college and drank 7 energy drinks in the span of 30 minutes and laughed myself to the point where I thought I was dying because I was laughing so hard. And
That's because you were
I
actually
think that
dying.
was probably
Yeah.
intoxication.
yeah, I just want
Of
to. We were like,
course.
we
Please
thought
tell me.
we were gonna have like a contest. We were gonna like drink who could ever drink the most. And I drank 7 different ones and then started laughing and couldn't stop laughing and started crying because I was laughing. I had a Dodger moment where I was like, I can't stop laughing. And
Those happen to me when I haven't drank anything, though.
yeah,
Yeah,
but, like I
often
couldn't
just no
stop.
reason at all.
I'm intoxicated on life, guys.
No. You let me know if that's what it is, because I think I
I've
OD'd on
lost
caffeine once.
I've lost my notes about it, but it's as you would expect, like palpitations and racing thoughts, and because the way that it stimulates your nervous system, your adrenergic nervous system, it can cause like arrhythmias, and then your heart does a stop.
Yeah,
Oof.
generally
Does
not a
a
good
heckin'
thing.
stop. It's no
No.
good.
How
So
much
we've learned
is,
today. I've educated.
How much is
I never wanna
250
feel that way again.
milligrams
It was
of caffeine?
terrifying.
Like in
That
your
does sound
average, in your
bad.
average cup of coffee, like how much caffeine? Actually, screw it. I have a can of Juice Monster Energy here, which is the only good energy drink. Everything else tastes terrible. How much caffeine has this thing got in it?
Coffee's like 30 or 40. I think one of them's got like 80 or something, like something stupid.
I have one piece of caffeine gum.
Yeah, I don't think it even lists it actually in terms of how much caffeine this stuff has in it.
It should do.
Everything that I'm looking at
Probably
is
not a good
in
amount.
milliliters. Like milligrams.
Well,
I
if
guess
it's
like
if
an
it's
extreme amount.
well, if it's liquid, or did you say milliliters? Because in liquid,
No milligrams of caffeine.
Looking this up. I'm looking
Yeah,
this up. This is important
but-
for gamer. This is important gamer news.
Very
if it's like
important, yeah.
if it's like the consistency of water, isn't like the weight of a milliliter is actually 1 milligram on something that's the consistency of water, right? Or am I just bad at science?
Are you thinking of?
I'm probably just bad at science.
I don't.
Okay.
I don't know.
God bless.
No, I can't find how much caffeine is in this anywhere on the can, which is a bit disturbing, actually.
Here we go. I got you. God bless infographics. So the safe limit of caffeine is 400 milligrams of caffeine a day, which is 2 5-hour energy drinks, 5 1/3 espressos, 5 Red Bulls, 2.5 Monsters, or a 11 pack, not a 12 pack of Coke. So there you go.
Whoa, that's still in the safe limit to your body?
I mean, caffeine-wise, I don't think you should drink 12 Cokes in a day.
Yeah,
That's
safe
either.
limit versus what versus what is comfortable. So like 160 milligrams in what? It's a good job I only drink one of those a day at most. Jesus.
Yeah, that would.
I mean, usually I don't like energy drinks, but I found this one pink one, Juice Monster Pipeline Punch or whatever, which was tasty, and I thought I'll order some of that. And now I'm terrified to drink it anymore.
5 Hour Energy, 2 of those little tiny baby bottles is enough for a day. Like, I know people, especially people who like stock shelves or like drive late at night, who down like 5 of those things. So.
You know,
They're
how could that
on
possibly
caffeine.
be a good idea? Like when you're taking something like that, like a shot, like, is there any time in life where having 5 shots of anything is a good idea? Probably not.
Like a wedding.
5 shots of a wedding. That's,
no, like at a wedding, not of a wedding. 5 shots of a wedding. I took 5 photos. And they were very close.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a bad idea. Someone's going to get very angry that you only took 5 photos. So my point stands.
You're right.
Jesus God, yeah. We have learned a lot about drugs today. You shouldn't have them unless they're prescribed to you. In which case, that's okay. Have that. That's fine.
Excellent advice.
Good, solid advice, I feel. When it comes to video games, has anyone else played anything else this week? Because I think I might be fresh out. Well, I'm not. I've got a couple more, but I'd rather you guys fill in.
Yeah, so real quick, because it's something we talked about before, but apparently I went back and was playing more Total War Warhammer, which how did I get addicted to that?
Yes, I played.
They have new races now.
Yes,
There's
they do.
Like
have you been playing the Tomb Kings? I've been playing the Tomb Kings.
I did.
The Tomb
and I
Kings,
guess their story is like they hate the vampires. I don't know why.
They don't necessarily. It depends on what faction you're with. Some of them actually quite like the vampires. Some of them really don't.
Super cool. Yeah, I logged in and the title screen was like a floating pyramid. I was like,
yeah,
oh my God, it's Stargate SG-1. And I was very excited and immediately jumped in and was like, I got to play these guys. And you play as like Egyptian skeletal kings and shit. It was great. I was like, what? This game is the best. So,
and they're surprisingly diplomatic. You would think, I'm probably not going to make friends with that many people. But as it turns out, especially if you pick the right leader, they're actually quite friendly. And they have a lot of ancient Egyptian gold, which makes people like them quite a bit. It's like, well, I can give you this gold. So they're like, well, I am friends with you now.
Yeah.
So allying with the vampires is doable. I've allied with at least one faction of Bretonians. And they're the people that believe in the Lady of the Lake and holy vows and stuff. But apparently they're okay with skeletons that come out of pyramids.
Skeletons, totally cool.
Yep, they're okay with that. We're just getting really progressive up in the Warhammer world these days.
They really are. Sometimes I play as like the lizard men sometimes, and there's like a colonizing force of humans that show up, and they're like, we're friends though, right? I'm like, we literally sacrifice you to our dark god. Like, what? Like, we're good though. You keep doing that. We'll just be over here in our town. I'm like, I'm going to kill you. You know that, right? They're like, you guys are cute. It's weird sometimes. It doesn't make sense, but I love it. There's like a new Skaven leader now. There's all sorts of cool stuff.
Yeah, that's free as well. So you can play the new Rat Boy for free, which is great. It's awesome that there's 4 factions for the Tomb Kings. That gives you, and one of them's a really, really evil one that has a really bad idea that the rest of the Tomb Kings really don't like. Because this time around, as some people are probably aware, if you play Total War Warhammer 2, the objective is to mess with this big void of magical energy that's in the middle of the map, either for good or for evil, depending on who you happen to be. Well, it turns out the Tomb Kings don't actually care at all about the big magical whirlwind thing, so they have a different objective, which is to collect 5, I think, possibly more books of Nagash, and then enter the Black Pyramid of Nagash and have a giant big fight to presumably destroy Nagash, because in the Warhammer lore, Nagash messed up a bunch of stuff for them, and they would rather not have him come back and do that again. Turns out, one of the factions for the Tomb Kings, they're like massive fanboys of Nagash and think it's a really, really good idea to bring him back. So let's totally do that. It's like, no, you idiots, don't do this. So one of your penalties is all the other Tomb King's factions are like, you're idiots and we don't like you. So diplomacy with them is pretty tricky. But you end up having to play entirely differently as a result of that, which is pretty cool.
It's incredibly cool. The buildings are cool. The way they look is cool. The
units are great. I love
There's like a giant walking, like laser-eyed idol god. It's awesome. He's like,
yeah. They've got constructs. Yeah, it's a really cool mix because you get a lot of your units for free because obviously they're skeletons and all you need is bones, and there's a lot of bones. So you get these guys for free, but you can also build constructs, which is like, oh, you want a statue of a sphinx that comes to life and murders people? Because you can have one of those. In fact, you can have more than one. You want a giant statue that burns people with its laser eyes? Because we've got them. Yes. Yeah, they're a very, very fun faction that's a big mix of stuff.
So
it's really cool.
Do they hate vampires because the vampires are also undead, but still like sometimes kind of cute?
Well, they
don't hate them.
One of the leaders is sometimes kind of cute.
Yeah. Well,
one of the Tomb King leaders?
Yeah.
I don't recall the sexy Tomb King leader. There's plenty of the sexy vampires, and there's of course, there's the married couple that you can play as, Count and Countess von Karstein. They're
play
married.
them both?
Oh no, those
yeah,
are
you can play them both. Yeah.
Cool.
They're a married couple. They get bonuses, I think, for fighting with each other, if I recall correctly. It's been a while since I played them. But
sounds about right.
And I don't think they hate them because vampires are cuter than they are. I don't think the Tomb Kings are too worried about that, actually.
I mean, they're both undead. Like, there's got to be some kind of a jealousy issue.
Apparently, there's some animosity going on, but like I said, you can surprisingly ally with them more than you might think.
It's like necromancy. It's kind of like it's like if skeletons could hate the necromancers that kept them alive, that kind of thing. Like, you dicks, like, we were fine and now we're like skeleton boys. You brought us back. You suck. Like that kind of hatred.
Oh.
Yeah, something like that. It's a good time though. It is a good time, and a good time to come back to Warhammer 2 if you have been away from it for a while, because there is some free stuff, and the DLC has got a lot of extra content.
A lot of the title screen where you looked at the characters and stuff was always really like really jittery and crappy, and they patched all that, so now it looks great.
Yeah, they fixed a lot of that, which is good. They've got this weird sort of crafting system where they hoard canopic jars, and they can trade them in with stuff for different items, which is neat. And there's literally an ability called Canopic Jar Hoarder, and you get extra jars every turn, presumably because your leaders are hoarding them, which is weird because you think they'd keep them, but apparently not. They just give them to you, so not much of a hoarder, really. More of a convenient and useful discoverer of canopic jars, but there you go. Yep, so if you like your Egyptian-themed stuff, then that is the DLC for you, because undead Egyptian skeletons are the best. And The Mummy Returns is one of the best movies of all time. And I'll stand by that for a long time to come.
It's so much better than The Mummy.
Yes. Yep.
Can I tell you something? The Mummy Returns, I'm gonna call it out there right now, stole every scene from Diablo 2. Just putting it out there. The Mummy Returns is Diablo 2. Go back, play Diablo 2, then watch The Mummy Returns and be like, literally everything is stolen from this game.
Perfect. Be inspired by something really, really good. Why would you not want to be inspired by something really, really good?
Have you seen what I think is chronologically the next one in the series, where the kid has now grown up and for some reason become American?
The Mummy in China one?
I can't. I don't know what it is.
It's terrible.
All I know is that it still has Brendan Fraser.
Yes.
But the woman is no longer Rachel Weisz.
Right. Well,
and there's this brilliant scene right near the beginning where she's doing a book reading, and of her book that she's written, and someone is like in the audience is like, oh, what amazing adventures. It almost sounds like they happened to someone else, and it pans up, and she's like, it was like it was a different woman entirely. because it is. The actress
Man, that
is
was
a
on the
different
nose,
lady.
wasn't it? I bet they thought that was really, really clever. I bet they thought it was genius. It was just an incredible piece of cinematic genius, but no.
They got her, so it worked.
It's one of those things that I put that in my pocket for, like, if I ever create anything, don't do that. That's
Okay.
the only. That's
bear
the
that
only
in mind.
rule I have.
Yeah.
Well,
It's the same thing they did in Iron Man 2 when they changed the actor who plays like
War Machine?
Oh, what the hell is that character's name? I want to say Rowdy, but that's not his name. When Rowdy Piper changed characters, but it's the same.
Don't
thing they
recall
did
him
in
being
Iron
in
Man 2
that.
when they literally addressed that like it's a different actor.
Yeah, Rhodey.
Was it
Colonel Rhodey.
Jarvis?
No.
Colonel
Jarvis
Rhodes.
has always been the same.
Rhodey. Yeah,
Yeah.
James Rhodes. His friend in the first one, he's one actor. In the second one, he's a different actor. The guy, War Machine, basically. And at the very beginning of the second one, when he comes in, he's like, "Yeah, it's me. Get over it." Like that, one of those things where it's like we're addressing immediately. The very first line is him saying, "Like, I'm not the actor that I."
In some situations, that's probably the best way to do it, right? In others,
I hate
apparently.
those things. Like, don't do that.
Just
we all
breaking
know,
the
don't do
fourth
that.
wall immediately. Yeah, Tomb of the Dragon King or Tomb of the Dragon Emperor, I think is the name. I have not seen that. I should go watch it. Is it? Oh, okay.
It's bad. It's not.
I do
good.
like bad movies.
So bad.
Oh,
I
is
was
it
trying to
really?
play.
Is it genuinely that bad? Like, is it
Oh, it
the
is.
Tom
Wait,
Cruise
is this
remake bad?
This isn't the Tom Cruise one.
No.
No, that's also terrible. That's also
I've
very.
heard that one is like one of the worst movies that's come out.
That's
in a long
awful.
time.
That is awful.
No, it's not that one. It came out ages ago. And I was just like, oh, fuck it, there's something to watch.
I'm gonna
long
watch it
flight.
tonight. I'm doing it.
Holy shit. Did anybody watch has anybody watched the most recent Death Race movie?
I don't know what the most recent one is because
There's
I've
the one
watched
with like Jason
most of
Statham
them.
in it. That's
the
very like
first
Fast
remake.
and Furious feeling.
Oh boy.
Right? And then they made like a sequel.
They made a lot of direct-to-DVD ones. I've seen most of them.
Holy
What's the latest
shit.
one?
There's one on Netflix, and I was trying to explain. Like what the Death Race concept is, and I was like, yeah. You know, it's like a bunch of people who are fighting for their freedom by doing a death race, and whoever.
Oh, there's at least two I haven't seen.
So the
excited.
one that is on Netflix right now jumps the fucking shark entirely, and I was like,
Death Race
what am I
2050. Is that what it's called?
yeah. Oh my God. It's
sounds
set in like a
wonderful.
dystopia where the people who are in the death race are just normal ass people who apply to be in the death race.
Why would
and
they
their
apply?
goal is to kill as many civilians as possible because there's an overpopulation problem.
Can I
It's the fucking weirdest movie I've seen.
Well,
in a really long time.
hang on a minute. The weird thing about that is that is the actual concept of the original Death Race.
Oh
both
my God.
The video
This
game
is-
and the movie.
This is a really bad movie.
we-
guys. It's
Can we just-
really
hold on,
bad.
hold on. This is the synopsis of this movie. This is beautiful. Groups of drivers compete in a deadly government-sponsored cross-country race where points are earned for killing pedestrians and other drivers. The reigning champion, the half-machine Frankenstein, is unaware that his co-pilot is a rebel spy. That's it. That's the story.
I don't see how it can be bad. It's
There's
got Malcolm
Is it on
McDowell's
Netflix?
in
Can
it.
someone find out if it's on Netflix Australia? I need this.
Dude, right? We put it on, and I was with David Sievers because I was in Florida doing like coffee stuff, and we started watching it, and he was like, are we committing to this? Because it seems really bad. And I was like, I mean, I'm down to watch this whole thing. And he was like, all right, good, because I also have a high tolerance for this
Look.
kind of a thing. So we watched the entire fucking movie, and it's so bad. One of the drivers is like a pop star, but the song that she keeps playing from her car is just a song where she goes, drive, drive, kill, kill, drive, drive, kill, kill. It's amazing.
It looks like Wacky Races meets like
Very wacky race.
oh my god, the trailer is incredible.
Is it deliberate? Like,
It's-
is it on
yes.
the nose?
Well,
Oh,
the
so-
right. Well, the original Death Race was supposed to be sort of a satire, kind of like The Running Man, right? One of those dystopian future things. This looks like the same plot as the original Death Race, as opposed to the recent Death Race movies, which have actually not been the whole run over civilians thing. They've actually just been convicts race each other in cars with weapons on them kind of thing. So yeah, I think it is probably deliberate, but very badly executed satire.
God.
But I'm gonna have to watch it, because anything
You
that's
have
remotely
to.
like
Oh my
The Running
God.
Man,
Tell me
That
how
sounds
you feel.
amazing.
I can't wait. It looks just dreadful. Just my kind of dreadful.
It's so bad.
Beautiful.
Wonderful. Awesome. Video games, just before... We've got 15 minutes before the break. Has anyone else played any other video games?
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to Sphear is a game that I played a lot of.
Spirit? Is that
weeks.
Spirit Sphere? Do you mean Lost?
Like
Lost
no,
Sphere? Or...
Lost Sphere, great. But I wanted, before we get to that, Spirit Sphere
Okay.
is literally combine old Link to the Past with air hockey.
Wait, sorry, what?
It's literally, there's a sphere that bounces between, and you like hit it back and forth. It's like air hockey, but using the graphical interface of like Zelda.
Okay.
Look it up, get footage of it. It is super
I'm
cool.
working on it.
How long is that fun for?
If you have like a lot of people to play with, it's super fun. I don't know how much
okay.
it would be by yourself, but like like all games, it's always more fun when you play with someone else.
Mm.
But
I don't find games as fun when I play with other people.
I completely agree. I'm glad that I wasn't the only person
Yeah, I
going,
think there's quite a few
totally.
people that quite like not playing with
air
others,
hockey,
actually.
but Zelda. Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's the
I
footage
see
on
that.
the screen. Yep, that it does seem to be that.
Yeah.
And
So
I
it's 16. Is that 16-bit?
that's
32-bit?
eight. That's very 8-bit. Very 8-bit. That is. But I have a similar concern of how long will this be fun for? How long was it fun for you, Jesse?
I mean, we played for about an hour and a half. It was fun.
Okay. Yeah, that
But,
sounds probably about as long as I get into it with the
Yeah,
right people.
it was literally, it's Zelda and air hockey. I don't know how else to describe it, but it's exactly what it is.
You can't just say something's like Zelda because it's 8-bit.
No,
Like, does it look
looks
like
kind of
Zelda?
like Zelda though.
Well,
Yeah,
I'll
it looks a
Google
bit
it.
like
What was
it.
it called again?
It's all-
Sphere.
Yeah, I'm playing the footage on the stream at the
Sphere.
minute.
Was it not spit? What was it? So it was something about spheres and spit.
Spirit.
No,
Spirit
not that.
Sphere.
Spirit Sphere. Yeah, it does look a bit like Zelda, yeah.
Yeah, like
Like
how
a
else am I,
worse
like I
Zelda.
don't know what other game to describe it as.
That's
It's
fair.
really-
Oh, okay.
It looks like it. And then
Yeah,
of
no,
course,
all right. I see where you're coming from.
last Tuesday, Lost Sphere came out.
Yeah, Lost
totally
Sphere.
different. It is a RPG by the same team that brought us I Am Setsuna. It plays very, very much like I Am Setsuna. There is a sort of interesting, different like world building mechanic in the game this time that you collect memories and you use the memories to rebuild parts of the world and also build special artifacts, and these artifacts give you bonuses. So you can get bonuses as simple as like seeing the HP of an enemy, or you can get bonuses that are like, if you do this, you'll get a crit on that. Like, and then there are bonuses that only affect certain continents and only affect certain things. So it's very interesting. And then the rest of it is just your standard JRPG fare. I think at the moment, because the story's taking I'm maybe 12 hours in, the story's taking a long time to get revved up. I think I'm Setsuna was a lot more like shit's happening. This is very much just like from moment one, it's like, hey, the world's vanishing, and like you have the power to save the world, your character, and the empire that runs shit wants you to help them, but also they're evil, but you don't know they're evil, but they're evil. And it's like, I become an unwilling puppet. Oh no. And it's, it's very tropey. And I feel like I'm Setsuna was a lot more, there's a lot more going on. Even though the world was like all snow and it wasn't like visually like, oh, this is the story. I think was a lot better. So that's all I'll say about Lost Sphear.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, other than that, I didn't play much.
No. Nobody has touched the Dragon Ball game?
Oh, I have.
Dodger?
Hey.
I thought you might have. I'm like,
Yeah,
surely
I have-
someone has.
I've played some Dragon Ball Fighters. That game is very good at making you feel like you're doing cool shit without a whole lot of effort, which is very fun for me.
That's what you're
Yeah.
doing out of a Dragon Ball game.
Yeah, it's the new Dragon Ball game. I've only played the story mode for a bit. I'm playing it with the Super Couch Fighters, so they've got a couple videos up on their YouTube so far. But yeah, the concept of the game is very silly, but the look of the game is incredible. It's the same people who make Guilty Gear. So just like
Yeah.
the way that everything looks, every cutscene is like immaculate looking. It's beautiful.
Can you
They
verify
are
something for me?
pretty good at that.
Sure.
So the plot is that, and this is only what I've deduced from watching competitive play and hearing the dialogue that is said between characters. I haven't seen any of the actual game, but from what I've deduced, the plot of this game is that Android 23, aka like sexy glasses android,
Sure.
wants to eat people, and then she eats people and becomes like sexy Boo. Like what?
I have not gotten far enough to know any of that. So
Like,
I don't know.
think the
Maybe
plot is she's just very hungry and wants to eat people.
So here's the story that I know so far. It does the thing where all of the characters talk to you, the player, because you as a player are like a strange entity that was created in a lab that invades people's bodies. Like it's not something that you chose to do. You just wake up in Goku's body, right? At the very beginning of the game. And
What?
Bulma's like, Goku, the world is fucking falling apart. Like, we need you to fight people. And
Wait,
Goku's just like, I don't know who Goku is. I don't know what's going on. And you realize, like, oh, it's because we're in Goku's body. And we've, like, overpowered the real Goku that's in there.
That's an interesting
then-
way to do storytelling perspective in a game like
It's
that.
really bizarre. So like then it becomes there are these weird waves all over Earth that are knocking Earth's finest warriors out, right? And so everybody's waking up with no power. But if we as this strange entity are inside of their body, they have all of their power. So that's the way that they justify this concept of a game where you have to constantly swap between warriors. Is that like you have 3 different warriors that are in your team that you swap between, but the reason they can't all fight at the same time is because you have to like choose to be in their body in order to do damage. It's such a bizarre way to go about like justifying that concept for a fighting game.
And in a fighting
Right.
game, generally justification for any of this nonsense is not required at all.
Looking this up, I need to know about Android 21. I'm in. Does she
Android
eat people?
23, wasn't it?
How
many are there now?
Android 21. I don't know. Who's Android
There's-
23?
I don't know. I thought that was what
She's
you said
new.
earlier.
She's
I
new
don't
to
know
this
anything
game.
about the plot of any of this.
Yeah.
I never
she's
watched
brand
an
new.
episode of Dragon Ball Z. Probably never
That
will.
sounds contrived as fuck. It's a fighting game. Of course,
love-
it's contrived.
Well, yeah. When was the last time you had a story mode for a fighting game that didn't have a lot of silliness in it? Oh, jeez.
I can't. This is
I'm
the
cool with it, 'cause, again, the
this is
cutscenes are incredible.
Wikipedia description. Android 21 is described as a busty scientist with glasses and long, bushy auburn hair.
Okay. Oh, and that's
yeah,
all that
because
they
they
tell
don't want the spoils of what she actually is, which now is out there.
you. Yeah, so maybe apparently don't spoil the plot of the game.
What?
Interestingly,
All of her fan art, whatever.
all
Y'all
of
are
it,
spoil babies.
Of course, you straight into the fan art.
Spoil
This
baby.
game is doing really well, which is not surprising. There's been a ton of hype behind it, but what's really surprising is how well it's doing on PC. because fighting games usually do terribly on PC. This one has blown out of the water every record for every fighting game on PC by several orders of magnitude, I think, actually. It's done really, really well. Apparently people really like Dragon Ball something, you know. FighterZ or whatever. Peaked at 44,000 players, which is concurrent, and there's currently 16,000 playing at the minute. For a fighting game on PC, that's actually ridiculous. So, there you go.
Can you do the moves from the TV show? Like the Kamehameha and the spiral beam cannon and all that?
Yeah. They also don't make you have Goku in your team, even in story mode. So we've been running an all-human team. Which is great, because all of the humans are like, well, thank God we've got Goku around to make sure that we can do these fights. And I'm like, nope, fuck Goku. Get Goku out of there. I want Krillin. I want Yamcha. I want Tien. That's my team. Fuck all the Saiyans. They're too powerful. I want the humans to defend Earth for once.
Krillin, hair or no hair?
No hair. He's shaved his head again in the
Fair dues.
storyline. Also, Yamcha, despite the fact that you find him in his gi ready to fight, is like, oh, guys, I don't know if I should fight because, you know, I've been retired for a long time. And we're like, you're ready to go. You're all dressed up for this shit. Like, what was the plan here? So, yeah.
That sounds good.
It's great. If you're a Dragon Ball fan, it's so fun.
I have a confession. So I'm too old. Like, I'm too old. I was too old at the time to be doing this, but me and my best friend in school, we could do the fusion dance.
Yes.
And we did the fusion dance, and now we are one human, and we have been ever since. I won't release her.
Damn.
That's
Wow,
not
got
true.
real.
Her name's Claire. She's lovely. She's still in England. That's
The
so
plot is
true.
really-
She's her own person, living her own life.
She just wants to eat. This is the plot. She has an insatiable appetite. That's the villain's arc. And
Love
she
it.
must eat everyone.
The Red Ribbon Army is part of the storyline, which if you're a Dragon Ball fan, you might be like, oh shit, they're back. Okay. So yeah, there's all kinds of callbacks to things, and it's fun. It feels really, really good to play, and they also did the smart thing where they incorporated the tutorial into the story.
Sweet.
So you can just hop right into doing story mode, and the game isn't going to be like, you have to learn how to do this stuff. It's just like little pop-ups at the top that are like, hey, if you want to learn how to do this thing, this is how you do it. But otherwise you can just spam buttons if you want. They don't make you learn anything. They just have little pop downs that are like, here's how you do this, and here's how you do this.
Sounds like they made it pretty accessible, which,
Yeah.
considering the
They made it
license,
good
they
for
sort of
people
need to.
who already understand the basics of a fighting game and can probably figure it out, and also people who are just like, I'm really into Dragon Ball and I hear this new one's really good.
That's me.
Yeah. It's
I'm not
great.
so keen on them necessarily incorporating tutorials into fighting game storylines, because you do end up, especially like for the first hour or whatever, if you have even a basic understanding of fighting games, like, oh god, they're just sort of like forcing this on you to the point where, like, this is boring. I want to get to the bit where there's actual fighting involved, where they're not stopping me every 5 bloody seconds to tell me what to do.
Right.
But, you know, there is a downside to that. For some people, anyway. I'm glad it's accessible, though. I haven't tried it yet. I should play it. I like all the games that company has made. They're usually very, very good. They've got great systems behind them. They look gorgeous.
Yeah.
And with no knowledge of Dragon Ball Z and it basically being a roster fighter, you know, a tag roster fighter based entirely around that, it's hard for me to get a lot of enthusiasm for
Sure.
that. But then I've realized, you know what? I've played fighting games like Guilty Gear or Blaze Blue where I don't know anything about the characters either. And I've got into that. So I don't see any reason why I couldn't necessarily get into this as well and just treat it like any other normal fighting game roster instead of being so worried about the story. Like, I probably won't play the story mode beyond maybe getting the handle on the game, and I'll probably just go online and play there. I am told...
The story's super simple anyway. It's not like overwhelming.
I am
Add it to
told
the
that
tapas.
the lobby system for this game is awful. I am told. Apparently
At least the look of it, I haven't really utilized the lobby because again, I've only done story mode, but the look of it is very Guilty Gear, like the most recent Guilty Gear, how you walk around as a chibi version of whatever character you're playing in a lobby with a bunch of other characters.
That sounds terrible.
It's the same.
Yeah, like that. I'd rather have a menu. So it's like, oh, I want to make a lobby and get all my friends in there easily. Apparently, you just can't do that. You've got to go all try and find an empty lobby that has enough space for all of you and then all jump into it at once. And if you can't do that, then you can't get everybody in. So
yeah, that's not great.
That sounds pretty stupid. But for laddering, I guess that's not a problem. So I could just play 1v1. It'll probably be all right. Yeah, just give it a shot. Despite my reservations about it being Dragon Ball.
The other thing that I think is a bonus, specifically if you're a Dragon Ball fan, is every team of characters, every like team of 2 has their own like specific scripted and fully voiced conversation that they'll have before a fight. So like if like in our situation, we just loaded our team up with humans. And so now the last 2 fights, we've seen like little conversations between 2 of the characters being like, oh man, remember back in the day when we used to blah, 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 blah. And we were all like, I do remember that.
And I'll be like, no, I don't remember any of that shit.
So I appreciated that they took the time to do that. And it also is making us go, oh my God, I want to see what the conversation is between like characters who don't give a fuck about each other, right? Like I want to put Vegeta and goddamn Tien in there or something. Like if there's an unlock for Yajirobe, he's so useless, he barely matters. I just want to put Yajirobe in there with like, I don't even know. I just want to know, what are they going to talk about? Like what's that conversation going to be?
There's several hours of YouTube videos of Injustice fighter interactions.
Yeah.
Which is sometimes worth watching because some of those are pretty funny interactions because like, who the hell are you kind of thing. And or Bizarro meeting people, or there's a whole bunch of mirror stuff, you know, when it's the same fighter meeting someone else. And the way they handle that is pretty damn funny.
Yeah.
So that's pretty neat when fighting games do that.
Mm.
Contrived, absurd, but at least they do recognize it.
Yeah, I love it.
Good nonetheless. Cool. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll deal with the news, what there is of it, which there is not a lot, but we'll deal with it anyway. And then we'll try and find something for you in the release list. Actually, there's quite a few things might be worthy of your attention this week if you're not still stuck in the world of Monster Hunter. We will be right back after the break. Don't go anywhere. You are watching the Co-optional Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Co-optional Podcast. The sounds of Bad Octopus. Save Them. Grand finale. Yeah, you don't need to ask about that. All you need to do is download that from Overclocked Remix, ocremix.org. It's from the awesome Final Fantasy VI album, Balance and Ruin, and it's quite silly. So you should probably get that song. It's like a mixture of Cuphead and Final Fantasy. And
Greatest
what more could you ask for?
Ever.
The news was what we could ask for. And you muted, Dodger. It might be news we can use. It's not news that Dodger's muted, but she was.
Oh.
It happens too often for it to be news. Ha ha ha. It's
because everybody yells at me and my keyboard's loud.
Well, I mean, we're
so
gamers.
Myself every time I type a thing.
We use mechanical keyboards. That's just a thing that's going to happen. You just got to deal with it.
They're so satisfying to type on until somebody yells at you.
Yeah, I do wish there was some sort of audio processing method that detected mechanical keyboards specifically and just muted them while that was being used. That would be quite nice, but I don't think that exists. Not to the best of my knowledge, but there you go. Now, news-wise, there's actually not an awful lot going on this week, but sad news for those that like the game Paragon, because it's Paragon.
Wait, how long? Oh my God! Did you plan that, or did it just hit you now?
Right? Come on, really? You doubt
This
me?
is a highly produced show.
You doubt me? You think I had to prepare
writers.
something like that? When it
Oh,
comes
you're
to
right.
our puns,
That came to you just now.
this
You're
is
right.
mastery level 99. Yep, Paragon is shutting down, I'm afraid. So, the third-person Unreal 4-powered MOBA/Dota style thing made by Epic Games wasn't doing that well, although we weren't really sure how well. You know, it was just sort of ticking around in beta. Epic Games announced they will be shutting the whole thing down, but nicely enough, they've also said we're going to refund everybody that ever spent money on it.
That is very nice.
Yeah.
That is unusual, but very nice. Pretty happy about that.
Yeah, this game was just so. I think at the time when a lot of people were trying it out, it had that issue where it was very slow, right? Like that was an issue that persisted
was a
for a
complaint I
while, where
had.
people would try to play it and be like, God, everything just takes forever to like get from point A to point B. Like all of the characters are so slow, right? And I think a lot of people just wanted something that was a bit more dynamic feeling.
Yeah.
By the time they started trying to change that stuff and make the pacing better, a lot of people didn't really bother coming back, which sucks.
Yeah, there was that initial hype, especially for people who had either played these kinds of games before or who were streamers that wanted to try it out and found it slow. And I was definitely one of them. I know Strippen was one of them. We played together. We had the same issues, honestly. It was not going particularly well. And I thought, you know what, maybe we come back to this later. And they did address some of those issues. They made the map smaller. They made everyone move faster. There was an issue with like just not really doing enough damage and not feeling particularly good. And the thing which really caught me was the card system that they used for loadouts was confusing as hell to me and didn't add anything to the game. It just removed choice while being inside the game. Like, you had to choose a lot before you went in, which I don't really like. It was a bit of a shame, though, because there's not a lot of those kind of games that do the whole third-person thing. And this game did, and it did it quite well. I mean, it was a pretty game. It was a very good-looking game.
For sure.
I don't know if you can necessarily say that the art style had a lot of definition to it. Like, you point to a thing, it's like, oh, that was from Paragon. It's like, well, guy with 2 guns, guy with assault rifle. There were a couple of them. There was some kind of beast with a big drum. I remember him. But otherwise, a lot of it was sort of like, oh, it looks like something that was made in the Unreal Engine. Like, yeah, it was. You know, it didn't kind of have its own character to it. And it's quite important in things like League of Legends and games like that for characters to feel like characters. You've got to make people care about them. Paragon didn't do a great job of that, I don't think.
Yeah. Everything in Paragon was like a little grimdark.
There was a bit of that.
Yeah, everybody, I don't know. You're right, though. None of the characters that stood out were like sort of monstrous.
Yeah.
And I liked the look of them, but it didn't really go beyond that.
Yeah, I think there was that. It had an identity problem. You can't keep people in a big roster game like that if they don't care about the characters within it. And the successful ones like Overwatch and Dota and League of Legends, well, those are games where you can quite clearly see that people care about the characters on the roster. So I think there's definitely an element of that. But
Fire up, the cavalry's here.
yeah, very much so. And try and name any catchphrase or even name a character from Paragon. Good luck. I can't, and I played it. I have no idea. Not a clue. Nobody in here can do that. I think that speaks not volumes, because none of us were big Paragon players, but it does speak somewhat to the fact that the game didn't really have much reach, didn't have much identity. But good on them for refunding people. That's a good thing. That's a very good thing. Maybe don't make MOBAs anymore, though. Maybe don't make Dota-style games, because they all seem to be failing horribly. When was the last one that came into the market and seemed like it was doing okay and surviving?
A MOBA?
Yeah.
But like, isn't this the same thing we talked about when, like, go back, watch our MMORPG comments.
Yeah.
Like
I was thinking about that too.
the biggest problem with the games industry is everyone sees like, it's the time we can strike rich with this game. And then the process of creating the game takes 2 years, 3 years. By the time it comes out, people have moved on. And so now you're seeing a lot of people are like, if we can get on this battle royale shit, we can make some big bucks. And so you're going to see over the next 2 years or so, more battle royale things come out to the point where it's like, why are people making battle royale games anymore? We've all moved on to kitty cat simulators, idiots. Like, why? You know,
we've all moved on to Cooking Mama clones.
Yeah.
Off the stream.
And that's the huge problem with trying to chase the tiger of gaming success, I suppose, is everyone's just like, we can do it though. Like, if we put our efforts into it, and it just on paper,
just make it different, just carve out a piece of that pie. Sometimes there'll be a degree of success. You know, you look at Heroes of the Storm on PC was probably the last attempt at a MOBA that's done okay. On mobile, it's probably that Arena of Valor, I think they call it. That's doing really well. And Vainglory.
Dude, Sam fucking loves that game.
I can't understand it because it just controlling it is such a pain in the dick.
He literally, we bought a new iPad because ours refused to charge anymore. And we were like, oh, well, it's pretty old. We'll just get one of the new ones, right? And literally it's an Arena of Valor machine. I take it sometimes and draw on it, but most of the time it's Sam playing Arena of Valor.
I don't know how he gets the time. He streams 28 hours a day already anyway. How could he play other games too?
Here's the thing is Sam's job is to play games, and then his hobby is to play games, and then that's it. So he comes home and sits on the couch and is like, did a nice long stream. Can't wait to decompress. And then he plays more games.
Yeah. That doesn't result in burnout at all. That will never happen. Don't worry. He'll be okay.
Somehow. He's always been this way.
At some point, yes, it will. But Jesus.
It depends how you think about it. It's all about your attitude towards the activity that you're doing.
Yeah, you're completely right about that, because a lot of it is, should I stream this? Like, you've got to have this separation. For me, the
absolutely.
separation I found, the healthy one, is, it's on console? Well, my channel is PC and I don't stream console games. So this means this is my time. This is my entertainment and personal time. It doesn't have to have anything to do with work. So that works for me. I don't understand how it could work for other people that'll also stream that. It's like, God damn it. Where are you finding the separation between your work and your play? Where is it? I don't understand. But yeah, maybe don't make any MOBAs anymore. And then in a couple of years, we'll probably be saying maybe don't make any Battle Royale anymore. But
we will.
There's space. There's definitely still space in the market. We were talking about that last week, and particularly how different SOS and the Darwin Project look, and how weird they look, and how different and innovative they look in comparison to Fortnite and to PUBG. So definitely some room there. But then we get back to the same problem, don't we? Because there were MOBAs like that as well, and they failed miserably. Like Dawngate, for instance. That was trying to be innovative, and then that got shut down. Paragon, to some extent, was trying to be innovative. That got shut down. Innovation doesn't necessarily give you a piece of the pie in a genre.
True.
Just sad, because you'd think it would. That makes sense, surely. Right? If there's a big pie and, okay, most people just like... actually, the pie analogy is really bad because the pie's all the same flavor. So... what's the best analogy then? Because we can't use the pie. We need something else. Let's say, most people like vanilla ice cream.
Oh boy, here we go. Yeah.
Right? Most people like vanilla ice cream. But does that mean there is no space in the market for peanut butter and jelly ice cream or something? No,
Yes.
Well, in Australia, you're probably right. In this country, you're not. It is there, and it sells. Trust me. Or pizza.
Okay.
Pizza is good. Most people have cheese pizza or pepperoni pizza. Does that mean there is not space in the market for chicken curry pizza? Well, in America, unfortunately, there isn't. In the UK, there is, and that's a great thing. That is a great thing. But when it comes to these...
Confused about the analogy.
Yeah,
I'm a little lost too,
I'm
but
working
I'm
on it.
enjoying the ride.
I'm trying.
Yeah.
I'm trying, right? It's a case of lots of people like the same thing, but there's still room for tons of niche things within that thing. You know, there's
sure.
room for 50 flavors of ice cream, but apparently there is not room for 50 flavors of MOBA when it comes to entertainment. Apparently that's not a thing. You can't be successful and keep your game alive with that smaller portion of the market.
I mean, in every genre, at any given point, there is a leader, right? But that doesn't mean that people shouldn't try to give variety for people who are looking for something similar, but not exactly that.
Yeah.
And it also depends on what other limitations and resource shortages that the company had. Like, I don't know necessarily that it's like a lack of demand as much as perhaps something else was going on.
Well, the thing that was going on with them specifically is the success of Fortnite. Like, I don't think there's any question about that.
It just pushed them out of the market.
Well, no, it's their game. So
Push them into the market.
it's a case of Fortnite's doing so well that I guess they want to pull all their resources and their developers off of Paragon and just put everybody on Fortnite because it's doing really well. That's a bit of a shame, really, because if you've got something that can carry your niche projects, then to me, that's kind of an ideal situation. It's like, well, this is the thing that pays the bills and funds everything else. Well, in Epic's opinion, apparently, it's not worth it, and they should just pull their dev talent and put it all on Fortnite, which is doing really well and obviously is worth it. I mean, I can't really fault them for that logic. It's like, why keep burning money on a pyre if it's not getting you anywhere?
Depends how much money you've got, I suppose.
When it comes to Epic Games, that's fairly large amount of money when it comes to Epic, definitely. But
Just throw it around.
well, apparently they don't want to do that. They would rather just set it on. They'd rather stop setting it on fire, which I guess is sensible. So hey, there you go.
They can donate it to Checkpoint if they like.
They could do that.
Checkpoint really, really would benefit from.
Yep,
Paragon's money.
give all of the Paragon development budget to Checkpoint. You might be disappointed by how much that ends up being. It's like it was about Tree Fitty, as it turns out. Just Tree Fitty. Well, that explains how slow the development process was. News-wise, is there anything else that's been going on? Not a great deal. It's been a quiet week, which is good, honestly, for the most part. There was the pre-orders for the new World of Warcraft expansion went live today, and apparently there was a queue for digital
It's
pre-orders.
also much more expensive, right? It's much more. Some people are saying it's like way more expensive than an expansion has been in the past.
For Warcraft, I don't know about that.
How expensive is it?
The collector's is $69.99.
Well, that's collectors. How much is the regular
normal
version?
one is $40-$50.
$40 would be normal.
I would look and
it's
tell
50.
you, but I too am sitting in the
Huh.
please wait while we take care of some business queue.
I'm sure you are.
You know, it's just sitting here.
Pre-ordering
way
digital
the
video
entire
games
podcast.
and standing in a queue for them. Wow, what a world we live in. I can't remember, actually.
It sounds to me like a
is 50
normal
normal?
Blizzard expansion, honestly. Blizzard always charges you an arm and a leg to buy their stuff.
Which is fine. Because people are going to buy it anyway, especially when it
they
comes
can
to
get away
WoW.
with it, so they're going to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think at one point some of them were $40, but 50 is not too outside of the realm of okay for them. That's pretty normal.
Yeah, I don't know. The reason why I think everyone is freaking out today is because if you buy it now, you get access to a bunch of stuff now. So,
oh yeah, some of the new, there's some new races.
The new allied races. You get a bunch of stuff for other games, like you can get a Horde banner or Alliance banner for like Overwatch. You know, like all the shit that you get for free.
The usual.
They literally
stuff
are just
does,
like,
yeah.
if you access it now, you can get stuff that will change the game right now. So people are
Right.
losing their mind trying to
That's
get it.
fair.
Yeah. I was just 500 internal server errored just now. So
Sounds about normal to me.
yep, sounds like at least it wasn't like an error 34. We're good.
What else has been going on? Not much, really. I think that might be about it.
Yeah, it looks like
Think
it.
so.
I'm trying to. I was looking at like the various news. There's not much happening in the world of gaming right now.
No. I mean, we've already had talk about hey, there's a new Dragon Age that's being worked on, and Anthem's being delayed, but we've
Anthem's delayed.
Yeah,
till
that's.
2019.
I think it now is officially delayed, but they've been saying that basically for weeks, so
Yeah.
we pretty much knew that was happening. So I don't think that's really news to anybody, honestly.
Huh. Yeah, Anthem is my like. I am super interested in seeing what happens with that game. Mostly morbid curiosity, but like I don't know what to expect coming out of BioWare right now. I just don't. And so I'm fascinated.
A lot of it's
The
not
last
the
two games
same
have been
people. It's not the same BioWare that you knew. And then you've got the fact that it's a Destiny-like game, and as we have discovered, turns out it's really hard to make Destiny-like games.
Even if you're Destiny.
Yeah, because Bungie can't do it, and they're the ones that made Destiny. They're continually screwing up, so these are really hard styles of game to make, so God knows how this is going to turn out. All I can say is I probably wouldn't play it on launch.
Speaking of EA, they released information about Battlefront and how they're like, people played the campaign. That's all we're really going to say. They were like, we don't really want to talk about numbers, about like who bought what or what. We're not even talking about that. So
yeah, there was a bit of info earlier today saying that they had shipped a certain number of copies. They'd shipped 9 million units. They'd expected to have shipped 10. Bear in mind, shipped is not the same as sold.
right.
So it's really not that useful a number. But EA...
They didn't really tell us anything.
Not really. You know, if EA's expectations were knocked down by 1 million, that's still pretty significant. I have to wonder what difference it actually made to sales and how many of these things are still sitting on shelves. Because, yeah, the shipped number is not that useful, really. I don't really think there's much else, honestly, on the news front, outside of Checkpoint released their first episode, so you should go watch it after the show. It sounds like
That
the
is
perfect time to
true.
do that.
That is news. We've got
Yeah.
a whole bunch of episodes coming out, and the first one's really great, and they're all really great, and it was crowdfunded, so that's really exciting.
There you go. It's almost like we brought this person on the show to shill for their particular series, and it's like, yep, that is exactly what we did.
Speaking of which,
Yeah, I was going to move on to
Now-
releases, but Dodge has disappeared, so we can't do that.
Dodger
so
vanished.
let's
So
fill for
we'll-
time.
We'll stall for time.
Yeah.
So, speaking of which, now that you've had 2.5 hours with us, I'm interested in general. I'm not saying get deep. General diagnoses on myself and TB. Go and
God.
go.
There will be no diagnoses.
No official
not
diagnosis.
diagnosis,
This
just
has not been a
opinions.
psychoanalysis. You're all lovely.
All right. So, when did you start lying? And
You know, there's a term for pathological lying that's really, really beautiful. It's called pseudologica fantastica.
That's a good word, or
I
set of words.
Pseudologica Fantastica? Why Fantastica? Because they're fantastical lies? Is that what it's supposed to be?
I guess it must come from the whatever the Latin derivation is for the word fantastic of being like outrageous and larger than life, fantastic. But I'm not that good at the classic literature to know. But that's what it's called, Pseudologica Fantastica. And lodge being words, like log.
Yeah, it sounds to me like instead of just being a normal, like, I lie all the time about stupid stuff, you lie all the time about, like, yes, the other day I went out with George Clooney and we smoked moon dust together, like crazy stuff. Yeah,
it's the name of a symptom, which can be indicative of other things, but generally that's correct, that the person can't not lie, they just like constantly lie. And they'll lie about everything, including things that don't really matter. But the name is very pretty.
Story about George Clooney and Moondust.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
George
the demons
Clooney
came and they had a fight, and
you know.
lasers were involved. It was great,
Yeah.
Fantastical lying.
So what happened was Jesse tried to get me to basically betray my professional ethics live on stream, and I sidelined him by telling him an interesting fact about psychiatry.
Oh, that sounds like Pseudonomicon Fantastical.
The Necronomicon Fantastica.
That sounds like Necronomicon Fantastical to me.
It sure does.
All these lies.
That's what I
all
thought
these
of.
crazy lies.
Oh,
No,
dear
I would
God.
never do that.
Yeah,
to
that doesn't
you?
sound like a thing that he would do to anybody.
Never. What?
Under
I'd
any
never put you in
circumstances.
a moral and ethical quandary. I would never do that. Live on a stream? Me?
He's never done that to anybody, and he's sure as hell
Never.
not starting now.
Yeah, I would never do that.
Oh,
All I
dear.
want to know.
These are great defense mechanisms. You got denial going on there. you
Go
got
on.
reaction formation. It's fantastic.
Yeah,
He's well practiced at this.
That's my favorite river, denial. I sail it quite often.
No,
Dear Lord.
Put my
Yeah.
sails up and travel down it
no.
and wave at everyone as I go past. I'm like, I'm on denial, y'all.
Well, we haven't found any more news, so we're going to move on to releases. We got nothing else to talk about, really.
Sick.
Yep, that's fine. Releases it shall be. We've got a list of them here. And in fact, Jennifer, you chose the first one. It goes by the name of The Unwelcomed. Why did you pick this? Why did this look interesting?
It's an escape the room for VR, and I like both of those things. I've done an escape the room for VR before, and it was fantastic. I can't remember what it was called because
Oh, I was gonna ask which one you played.
I'll name some.
There's We Were Here is one of them. It's a 2-player one.
No, it wasn't too bad.
And the other one is where you're like walking around in you're in like a mansion that your grandfather left you, and your grandfather put booby traps everywhere.
Oh, it was neither of those, but that sounds great. Yeah, no, that's why I picked it. It also looks quite pretty. It looks like it's probably an Unreal job.
It's interesting that it's bragging about being the first full-length escape room game, bearing in mind that escape rooms generally last for an hour. So I don't know if that's going to last that long. Oh, apparently there's over half a dozen rooms in it, so it is a pretty serious set of escape rooms. It's not just one room. Yeah, it looks like a good way to do things. Escape rooms and escape room games have been very popular on VR. Unsurprisingly, it's about the most sensible
It's a good use for
place
it.
you can put them, really, isn't it?
Yeah, they're pretty good. We've got a Vive, it's a dev kit, but it does the job, and that's pretty much all I do on it.
Good call. That is currently available as of today for $10. Not too shabby. All right, Dodger.
This game is called Remothered Tormented Fathers. This looked like a potential Scary Game Squad game to me.
A realistic
does.
survival
It
horror game.
potentially could
Yeah.
be.
Oh, no, God.
I have no idea what it's about, but it looks like maybe you play as like an elderly woman in a house. And I gotta know what happens in this game without having to actually play it. So I need
There's
Scary Game
so
Squad.
many screenshots.
Yeah.
I'm
And they
just
all look-
fascinated by what the term remothered means. I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
That's
Right?
something
What
they
is-
made up, I think.
It definitely sounds it. I just don't know what a bizarre term. Remothered.
One of the reviews says fans of stealthy thinking games are going to love this one. So
do it.
I mean, it's not that to me that reads as this isn't going to be fucking Outlast where you just run around a lot.
Yes, I hope that's the case. From everything I looked at and saw with this game, it definitely seemed like something that we would love. I just don't know. I don't know what it means.
Mm.
It looks intriguing, though.
So yeah, there's that one. The next one is a complete deviation from that, called The Quiet Sleep. And it's a tower defense game that takes place inside of your mind,
Oh my god.
where you're trying to build out your personality
What?
To keep...
keep a handle on like your emotions and your mental state.
Huh.
I don't know. I gotta know. Like, this looks so bizarre.
Yeah, visually I can't. I'm like trying to figure out what's going on. Like it's very simple.
There's a couple of these screenshots show you what these personality traits are in relation to the UI. Spend time with lover, share experiences, share joy. But I don't. They're all acts as opposed to personality traits.
Yeah.
I wonder if
Flirt
those
with-
are... I wonder if those are the acts and then the personality traits in your sort of arrangement affect what's going to happen with that. Almost like,
Yeah.
are these actions that waves in the tower defense game? Like, is that the whole... They're calling them trains, so I'm looking at this screenshot right here, and it's saying spending time with and flirting with and asking for a date. That sounds like an attack in a tower defense game, and you have to have, like, built up your personality enough to withstand a scary situation. I guess that's what that means? Maybe? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's interesting. There's no doubt about that. I haven't heard of anything like that before.
And then the last one that I grabbed from this day is Monkey King. I think it's a port. But it's a VR. So there's that.
It is, yep. I'm trying to figure out what it actually is. It's a visually captivating cinematic storybook experience told in virtual reality, apparently, involving
Yeah, I
Wukong.
remember when this game came out originally.
Okay.
So I'm trying to remember if the game originally was a VR game, but I don't think it was. I think it was just like a just a little adventure game.
Fair
It's
enough.
very pretty.
All right, Jennifer, you have a choice called Cold Iron on this one.
Yeah, I picked this one because I liked again it's VR. I don't know why that's happened, but it just looked like something that I hadn't seen done before, a virtual reality puzzle shooter. But then now I think about it, Superhot did that, so maybe I'm wrong.
Kinda, but it definitely doesn't look the same as Superhot at all,
It
does it?
definitely doesn't look the same as
No.
Superhot.
A demonic pistol possessed by a hungry spirit danced with the deadliest duelists in the world's first VR puzzle shooter. They claim it's the world's first one. It is. I don't know. I don't really know what exactly the puzzle aspect is. I'm noticing there are enemies that are different colors. I don't know what that means, though.
Who knows? Why would you let anyone know what the mechanic of your game is from the screenshots you use to get them to buy it?
Yeah, of course. That sounds ridiculous. Why would anybody
that-
do something along those lines?
I
Just
don't know.
absurd, but interesting nonetheless. Yeah, looks pretty cool. Jesse, what are you doing to
Hey.
me?
I'm not doing anything except dealing with the cards I was dealt. So the game for today that I
Jesse was
picked.
very upset with me for taking 3 games. And he
still
accused
am.
me of taking all the games.
Okay.
So the game that I chose is Forbidden Clicker Party. You're probably like, Jesse, it's a clicker. Oh boy. You know what? it's a clicker that has jumped on the Cuphead bandwagon and kind of
Has a
looks
bit.
visually cool. So it is
Not done an
all
awful
like
job of that, has it? Like, it's not quite as visually impressive, but it's not bad.
yeah, it's not bad. It actually looks kind of like old cartoony art style. Not obviously not as like good as Cuphead, but still pretty impressive. So I was like, all right.
Ha. All right. Not too bad then. In terms of console releases this week, Dissidia Final is coming to PlayStation 4. Is Dissidia Final? What's the difference between that and the other Dissidia? Because isn't that what's coming? I don't know. But Dissidia's coming out. We knew Dissidia was coming out this week, and it is. PS4 release for that. And you're also going to get Railway Empire and Wolverblade. I actually have played a bit of Wolverblade on the Switch. It's on there, and it is a brawler set in Roman-occupied England, and you play the Romans would call them barbarians, but you play a Briton, and it's a side-scrolling brawler, great art style, and one of the things you can do is sever somebody's arm, pick it up, and then throw it at a friend, which I thought was a pretty good mechanic. I think should probably be included in more things. So, yes.
You do that in Breath of the Wild.
That's probably why it won so many Game of the Year awards, honestly.
I think so. I think that's the reason.
Yep, so include it in
sense to
more
me.
things. Include it definitely in more things. But yeah, it's been out on Switch for a couple of weeks, I think. But yeah, the art style for this game is pretty killer, and the gameplay is as well. I felt it was quite satisfying the time that I played with it. So that's nice. Moving on to January the 31st. Jennifer, you choose Anchorhead.
That's today, January 31st.
No, that's tomorrow.
In your crazy space time,
no,
that
you're
might
from
be
the future.
true.
I forgot.
Future place,
You're
yeah.
from the future. That
Wow.
doesn't count. But regardless, Anchorhead.
So I played my first visual novel ever the other day. I spent quite a long time with Doki Doki Literature Club.
Oh my.
Yep. What a game to start with.
That's a way to
in that
start,
genre.
yeah.
No, I know, eh? I would say it's probably not indicative of the rest of them, but it got me interested. And then this looks very pretty and apparently is a visual novel. So yeah,
There you go.
I picked it.
Nice.
Sounds like
Nice.
as good a reason as any. And Dodger, you grabbed a game by the name of Kensho.
Yeah, why did I grab this? Oh yeah. This game just looks kind of bizarre to me. I think that it's played on it's like a weird grid puzzle game, but the look of the screenshots that aren't that grid really intrigued me.
Uh-huh.
I'm so curious because the only thing that it says is restore the balance of nature. That's the description for this game, and I'm just like I have to see what this game is like. And
It is
why
intriguing.
It looks like this.
Yeah, the
That's
visuals
a
are
deer.
bizarre.
I know.
Huh.
I gotta know.
That is interesting. We didn't find anything else on that day that was particularly interesting. So moving on to February the 1st. Jesse, explain to me the Candleman.
This Candleman looks like something that the vibe I got from it while looking at this game was kind of like Little Nightmares, and that sort of like visually, like basically you're a little tiny candle man and you can only burn for 10 seconds at a time. And so essentially you're going in and out of total darkness. And I know there's gonna be a lot of opportunity for like scaring yourself about stuff, but it doesn't appear to be a scary game. It appears to be sort of like a platformer, but I'm very interested in this game. It looks really, really cool. And visually is pretty stunning. So I definitely think it's worth checking out.
Yeah, that looks kind of awesome. The next game is called Next. Or more specifically, Next 2.
Oh, that's me.
It is.
I love the description because it's kind of meta. Minimalistic game with 2D graphics. Done.
Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong.
It's definitely a minimalistic game. It's definitely got 2D graphics. It reminds me of, it's funny we talked about Congregate earlier. It reminds me of one of those games that you would have got back on there that you could just completely zone out and be like, oh, I'm just going to like play this like physics game.
Yeah.
And like get in that flow state and have a nice time and then go back to the real world later. I love stuff like that. Just the ability to kind of immerse yourself and not really have to think about the real world for a little while.
Yeah, hopefully this one is cheap or free, because there are quite a few games like this, to say the least.
Minimalistic puzzle game with calm music.
With calm music, yes. The player's goal is to make a box falling on the platform.
Yeah, you got to make the box falling on the platform.
That is
What's wrong with that?
explicitly what it says. All right, moving on to...
Yes, move on.
Dwarf. How do you even say that? I don't know.
I think they want you to call it dwarves, but
Okay.
I don't know. Anyways,
I refuse on principle.
It's a VR tower defense game that is like heavily fantasy looking.
Yeah.
So I thought it might be an intriguing game.
Yeah, it's sort of a
like-
first-person tower defense, and it seems like you switch between different characters with different abilities. Like, and then they make the VR work for that. So if you're playing an archer, you have to make the proper motions of getting an arrow from your quiver and all that kind of thing. Apparently, you can also throw people to different parts of the map using the controller, which is interesting. That's what intrigues me about a lot of these VR games. Like, oh, it's just a tower defense game. It's like, yeah, but like, look at how unique the control method is.
Totally.
Like, that potentially makes a game that was otherwise very samey far more interesting. So I kind of like that. You know, I see a lot of potential for strategy games in particular, playing from the perspective of a general with a table in front of you, you know? And just being able to toss units onto the table. That's the kind of vibe I'm getting from this. And the trailer shows that too. That's neat. Final Fantasy is on its way once again. Is this the PC version of this? It is, isn't it?
It looks like it. Yep.
Yeah.
You can get Final Fantasy 12 on Steam. It's actually a really good game. It's basically Star Wars.
Yeah, I really enjoyed 12, and the PC version apparently actually runs at 60 frames, if you can believe it, which for a PS2 game is very surprising. It's a big full-on remaster of the thing. It's actually, I think it is my favorite Final Fantasy game. To be fair, I haven't played many of them. I only
don't
played
like the
a few
ending,
of them.
but I think the rest of it's stellar.
Yeah, it's very MMO-y. You know, it almost feels like you're playing an MMO in many ways. But
It was made during the time they were making Final Fantasy 11. So everyone was about that like MMO feel. Yeah.
But yeah, I did enjoy it, and it sounds like the PC version is going to be something special. So, considering, frankly, for a PS2 game, that game had incredible art. Playing this in 4K with full-on remaster at full frame rate, that would be kind of great.
I'm gonna say it. Best
Exciting.
voice acting in the Final Fantasy. Just saying it.
Wouldn't take much.
That's
honestly
true, but
this one, what are you doing to me?
I was shocked that Jesse didn't take this one, so I felt like I needed
He
to
must
pick
have
up the
missed it.
slack.
oh no,
It's called Photo Flash. The features of this game is really where it shines. Become the world's greatest pinup photographer. Encounter unique and quirky characters, 10 girls to meet and photograph, and assure your friends that you're playing it just for the story. Those are the features
Right.
of this game.
Yeah, you have to save a failing pinup magazine, apparently.
I really like the designs of the girls for whatever reason. Like the art style is super like poppy.
this trailer music is on point.
I love the second chick, the one with the blue hair. Her tan lines.
I know are
And-
crazy, right? There's just
Yeah.
Added to the list.
Yeah, what? That doesn't make a lot of sense, really. It's like, what on earth was your...
her tan lines.
Yeah, they don't make a
Yeah, they're
great
all over
degree
the
of
place.
sense. Yeah.
This is 100% my weekend stream game. This is what I'm doing this weekend. This is what's
Enjoy.
happening. I'm gonna photo flash everyone.
Couple
That's
of
all I
releases for the Switch that are worth paying attention to. Her Majesty Spiffing is coming on February the 1st, which is quite a funny point and click, especially if you happen to be British or something of an Anglophile. Night in the Woods is coming to Switch finally. And also the original SteamWorld Dig, which is very good, is coming to Switch. So there are some Switch ports for you. February the 2nd, I like the name of this, and also it seems like a pretty good couch competitive game. It's called Treadnoughts, and it's a 4-player tank brawl involving driving up walls, rocket jumping onto the roof, and doing all sorts of other nonsense. So this looks pretty entertaining to me. Sounds like the kind of thing I'd pick up on Switch later to be able to play on the couch.
We Were Here Too is the sequel to We Were Here, the escape room game that I was talking about that's for 2 players. So they've made a second one, and Octo and I played the first one together, and it was really cool. So we're really excited for the second one to come out.
That was great.
I've got PS4 release EA Sports UFC 3 for those who are into that. I can't imagine, but I imagine it will sell millions of copies. And of course, it has Ultimate Team Mode with a fighter. In fact, from articles I've read, it is the most egregious use of the Ultimate Team Gambling mode yet. So, great. What an awesome selling point that will be. I'm sure lots of people will defend it, as they do. EA is a wonderful company and has never put a foot wrong, and are, of course, completely ethical. He says with a straight face. What was that term we were looking for again? Lying Necronomicon Fantastico? Or is that,
Yeah.
that's a Harry
Yes.
Potter spell, isn't it? No,
Necronomicon Fantastico.
Necronomicon Fantastico.
that would
Oh,
be it.
Hermione.
And that's where the series ends, because they're all devoured by Cthulhu.
Yeah,
Well done.
it was crazy.
You really messed that one up.
Cthulhu.
Don't use that spell. We did tell you. Lovecraft warned you about this, and you didn't listen. You silly person.
You're an old god, Harry. Yeah.
Fartagen. No. Right, now, there were a number of dog-themed games on this list. We avoided indulging, but you did include one.
It's snuck on there. I'll tell you why I chose this one. So, as well as it's yet another research dog. So,
Is the name of it.
you know, I know we're all tired of research dogs, but this one we should
know
really
I
pay
am.
attention to.
Yeah.
One of the screenshots, the doggo's driving a car, and it says, somewhere on the freeway, your soul leaves your body for a while. Where it goes, nobody knows.
I love the
That's
art
it.
for this. I
This
absolutely
is
adore the art
so
for
effing
this.
silly. I love. What is this?
I don't know, and I want to know.
It
An
looks like
ordinary
it's a
scientific
kind of
engineer.
point and click.
It's Dog Boss. Oh my god.
So cute.
Oh my god.
It's the dream of this dog to become a famous scientist, but apparently is having problems because of his stupid boss's countless stupid jobs.
Oh, and there's that cat looks like he's up to no good. Can't trust cats.
You know, like I might play this unironically. I might actually have a look at this. This does look kind of cool.
It says
Oh,
you
man.
can finish it in about an hour and a half, so that's
All
right
right.
up your alley.
There you go. I see. I'll have to end it just over an hour then, because I can't finish games even accidentally. That wouldn't be. I might accidentally finish this one. That's going to be a real problem for me. Yeah, I'll have a look at that actually, because it at least for the art style, like it's pretty
It's very
fucking
cute, eh?
adorable. Yeah. All right. What do we got here? Fen Prologue.
Yeah, it's a side-scrolling survival game, which I don't think I've ever seen before.
I can think of a couple that have had elements of it, but this seems like it is a full-on survival
Oh,
game.
yeah, look at that.
Yeah, so I'm curious to see how that goes. Because I like the look of it.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, the art style, I love the idea of being in a bog and that's sort of like the minimalist aspect of it. That's interesting.
Yeah.
You find yourself in an unauthorized landfill, apparently, somehow. I'm not really
I like
sure how
they've
you...
given themselves a little tap on, a little pat on the back for the graphics. Great pixel art graphics.
Yeah, you know,
I
I don't really... I'm not a fan of them listing that in the features, because, like, that should... If that's true, that should be self-evident from what you're showing us. And also, you know, it's kind of expected that your game is supposed to look good, so maybe don't put that on the feature list. But, yeah, I guess they were running out of other ideas. Looks a bit Spartan, I have to say. Hopefully that's just because these shots are all from very early on in the game, but there you go.
Mm.
And is that it? No, we have one more on February the 5th.
Yeah, next Monday. Y'all, if you haven't played Slime San or Slime Son,
Yes.
you should play it. But Slime Son Sheeple sequel is literally taking what made the first game awesome, and then the evil sheeple is forcing Slime San to like go through crazy obstacles, and the trailer's great. The trailer's fantastic.
I love the description of this. This is meta as all hell. So Sheeple's finally lost it. He's convinced that everything's just part of a giant video game and that he was coded to simply be a side character, which is why he decided to recode himself to become the villain instead. Can you defeat his nefarious levels and come out of it unscathed? I love that idea. That is really cool.
And so this is a game that every time I've played it has been incredible. And if you like platforming, this is Dukes. You should check it out.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of good things about Slime Son. Yeah,
it's really good.
And that whole concept, that whole conceit is great. Big into that.
Can I be very cheeky and add one more to this list?
I think you can do that. We'll allow it for now.
It's a video. If you browse to the video hub,
you see,
Steam,
you have got your shilling down quite well here.
You can download for free the first episode of the Checkpoint series, tackling mental health issues using the power of video games. And the reason that I'm trying to kind of pimp this out now is, how the Steam algorithm works.
Oh, look, it's you.
The more kind of positive input you get, the higher you rank. So it would be very much appreciated if people could go along. And if you like it, and if you are interested in mental health, if you get something from the episode and the subsequent ones, please do leave us a positive review so that we can reach more and help more people.
Awesome.
There you go.
Very cool.
Of all the people we've had on the show to specifically shill a product or something like that, you have done extremely well in that regard. You are one of our top shills, so congratulations.
Yeah. Way to go. Way to go.
I've never dabbed.
And we should keep it that way.
Yeah, no, I'm sure there's a psychological reason for why dabbing is the worst.
Yeah. I'm sure there is. And it should never be repeated.
You don't need to say it.
Fantastica.
Yeah, you don't need to say it. We're all aware that it exists. There's multiple, I'm sure, peer-researched articles, peer-reviewed articles.
I feel there are spiritual reasons as to why it's not acceptable.
Oh, yeah.
Philosophical reasons.
Every time Dodger does it, a little bit of her soul just goes like,
there you go.
Yeah. Yeah, with each dab, she just becomes a little more of a husk.
Yeah, it's true.
It happens. Well,
Thank
that brings
God
us.
My family made a deal with the devil a long time ago, and I'll never die.
Well, you're not supposed to make deals with the devil. Cuphead made that abundantly clear.
Late.
We should have warned you about this prior.
That would have helped me 30 years ago.
You should have talked to my mom while she was still pregnant with me.
God damn it.
I had nothing to do with this.
Oh, well. That brings us to the end of the show, folks. We would love to tell you what's going to be going on this week. I think you have heard from our resident doctor over here exactly what is going on over the next few weeks. More episodes of Checkpoint, which you can find Checkpoint Organization with an S, not a Z. YouTube.com/Checkpoint Organization. Thank you so much for spending so much time coming on the show today and getting up at 5 a.m., I believe, in Australia.
Yeah,
which is
I'm
ridiculous.
a morning person. It would really help as well if people were able to go to my Twitter, which is RX_Pixel, and just retweet the pinned tweet. It would be fantastic to get.
I can do that. In fact, I've probably already done it, but I'm sure I can unretweet it and retweet it again. Is it RX_Pixel? That probably won't help at all, but yes, I actually don't think I have retweeted that one. No, I haven't. There we go. Retweet has happened. So yes.
Thank you.
Twitter.com/RX_Pixel for Dr. Jennifer Hazel's feed. Cool, and there'll be more episodes on the way over the next couple of weeks. So go and, as we said, subscribe to that channel. Make sure it gets up to 4,000 viewer hours. That should not be too difficult for you lot over the next week. I'm sure you'll be able to manage that. Thank you for spending time coming on the show to educate people, because God knows we don't do a lot of that here.
No, absolutely. And if people want to come and be part of our pro mental health gaming community, we get together and we play games, and we are awesome about mental health. You can do it on checkpoint.org.au.
checkpoint.org.au, folks.
You don't need to be in Australia, it's international.
Wonderful. Jesse, what's coming up on the channel this week? What's going on?
Man, we are finishing Life is Strong with Dukes, and watch out for the shilling that comes with that. There's an awesome new shirt that I'm sure Duger can attest to. It looks great. And more of the usual. And I had stuff planned today. That ain't happening now. I may just play more Monster Hunter. I don't know what's my life. Whatever. So, yeah.
Great.
Monster Hunter and pizza bagels.
I don't have pizza bagels, but that can change.
Sounds like a healthy combination. Dodger, what's coming up on the channel this week? What are you up to?
Hi guys, you can find me at Dex Bonus on pretty much everything. I'll be doing some Final Fantasy 14 stuff. New patch dropped, so there's new story stuff that my cousin Tiri and I are gonna tackle in like a half an hour to an hour. And we also have Manga Pod tonight, reading Killing Stalking, which comes with an NC-17 18+++++ rating. So please don't read this unless you are of mature age, but it should be interesting to talk about. It's basically like a manga book club, so that'll be happening at 7:30 tonight on my channel. Other than that, it's not. I mean, I stream a lot. Come hang out.
There you go. As for me, not much going on because I am leaving on a plane tomorrow down to Florida to go on my annual excursion on to the Metal Cruise, which means no internet for 5 days, which will be very relaxing, frankly. So I'm not doing anything. You'll get the VOD for this podcast this week, and I'll be back next week, and then we'll restart doing the whole curation thing and finding games that don't suck and all of the usual nonsense. So if you haven't caught up on the pilots to the 2 new series that we started, now would be a great time to do that this week. That is The Snark Tank with myself and Jenna, where we look through a bunch of games that we've been sent, and we read their pictures and we assess whether or not they were worth our time. And in most cases, we snarkily and very... I wouldn't say we're that mean. Okay, we're a little bit mean. We're just a little bit mean to them. Let's just put it that way. Or, of course, TotalBiscuit's Curation Club, myself, Sin Victor, and Force. We checked out 9 Parchments, which is about cooperative wizard murder, which is about as fun as it sounds, which is a lot of fun. So do go and have a look at that. And I will be back next week, same time, same place, same channel for the Co-optional podcast at 3 p.m. Eastern. That is at midday on the Pacific West Coast and 8 p.m. GMT. So thank you very much for watching, and we will see you next time. Goodbye.